The Matty B Show. Right here on Epis Sports Radio. Matty B. On Epis Sports Radio.
Swung on and hit in the air. Deep right center. That ball is high. That is far. It is gone.
Epis Sports Radio. I know who made that song. The very man himself is here. Super Bowl 60, episode 60.
The Jets win in overtime.
On Epis Sports Radio. All right. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Sports Radio. This is episode 60. The stars are aligned because today is also Super Bowl 60. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait to talk about it. But first, we have a very special guest in the building. The man that made that intro song. His name is all over it. From Adorno Music Works production, Steve Adorno, my family, my love. Thank you for joining me today, Steve. Steve.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here on Epis Sports Radio.
Yes. Steve is a funk, rock, Latin soul legend from the Boogie Down Bronx, okay? He goes far back into the 70s with his band. Correct me if I'm wrong with the pronunciation, but Devotion? Or
Devotion.
Devotion. I thought it was Devotion. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
Devotion.
Also joined GQ in the 1980s. All right. Gold, platinum records, the whole nine. He was a part of GQ from 1980 to 2010, I believe. Right?
Yes, 30 years.
30
That's right.
years. He just, phenomenal. The history, he has a wide discography of music. He's coming out with an animated series. We're gonna debut that today. He's he's coming out a bunch of singles, music videos, the whole nine. Great albums over the years with a lot of big projects with Seguida. Did work for Major League Baseball, for Latin music artists. Featured most famously for playing Mambo Rock with MLB Baseball, which is awesome. If you haven't checked it out, a little bit of nostalgia for me, growing up, having played Major League Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr., the game for Nintendo 64. He actually did the score for that video game, which was just, as a kid, just knowing that, playing that was awesome. I can't even begin to tell you. And I'll just, this is it's my third cousin right here. And this is, I'm playing this game and, I'm listening to his stuff. And of course, he was the producer, composer of our original, really a lot of our stuff are on the early days here at Epis Radio. Helped with the original logos, the original intro songs, the whole nine. Some of the very first episodes going back into the late the 2010s, 17, 18, 19, 20. We were recording in his apartment, all that. So it's just it's always a pleasure to have you on. I've been trying to find a good time to bring you on and talk about it. And man, it's beautiful to see you. How's everything? What's going on?
Everything is good, man. I say I'm so happy to be here with you guys. You and Dubby have been doing such a great job, keeping the Epis Sports Radio legacy alive and keeping the people informed on all aspects of all sports. Getting that word out to everybody. And you guys do a fantastic job. You have been doing a fantastic job doing this for quite some time now. Highly entertaining show. Anybody, if you're any new watchers watching this, consider yourself lucky to be catching this because sign up to it. Stay loyal as a watchers because this is what's happening, man. These guys are going to give you the inside of sports. No matter what sport you like or watching. We even got the Olympics happening right now, and you know that Epis Sports with W and Matt are really going to be on top of this and just give you all the side stories, the back stories, all the numbers. These guys are on top of it. So all sports, Epis Radio with two amazing hosts. Check it out.
I appreciate that. And of course, I can't forget my co host over here, W. Dubois. Thank you for joining me
Yeah,
as always, my man. Big day
hey,
for us,
man, hey.
obviously, in the
Yeah,
sports
I'm
world.
excited, bro. I can't
You know,
stop smiling. I got this guy on the right of my screen, on the left for you guys, on the right for you guys. But yeah, man, big day, Maddie. We've been talking about it all week. You've been up since early. We've been staying in contact. Just so this is a big one for us, Steve. We're so happy to have you here. And just even though you guys talk about the beginnings, and like Steve means everything to us. Even though we probably even haven't do anything with Steve in a while, but him just being there for the genesis and pushing us in the beginning. And like just him being here again, I feel like this the first day again. Like I'm ready to happy that you just bump this up. Maddie, you see
yeah.
that? You
Yeah,
bump this
man.
up?
I did, of
Yeah.
course, you did.
We got this, baby.
Yeah, well, I do. I would like to do him justice as well, and I want to talk a little bit about you, Steve. Not a
Absolutely.
little bit, a lot about you.
All day, baby. It's a lot of
Again, you go way back. Let's bring it back to a little bit of the beginning. Obviously, born and raised the whole nine in the Bronx. Just having those influences. A lot of your music revolves around that funk, rock, Latin sound. You came out with a Brazilian type album recently, right? Called
Yeah.
Espirito. Espirito.
Espirito. Espirito.
Espirito. Excuse me.
Espirito. Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. Which
Which
I
means
have.
spirit.
Yes, which I have gotten. It's a Brazilian fantasy, right? A Brazilian fantasy.
Yes.
Espirito.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very good. If you guys haven't, go check it out. You can buy it.
It's on all streaming services,
Yes,
Spotify,
yes.
Pandora. We're on everything.
Um, but take us back to the early days, man. I mean, I know we've talked before about it, but those for new listeners out there, like you said, just give them a little rundown
Sure.
of your influences, how it came about, where it started, and all, and
Sure.
just give a little rundown on that.
Well, it's everything for me started back in the Bronx, in the Soundview section of the Bronx, which was back as far as the Bronx was concerned, back there in the late '60s, early '70s. That was the hood. So I kind of grew up in that area. In the early '70s, I was in my early teens, years, and that time period and that neighborhood was heavily gang related.
Hmm.
You grew up right by the projects, Soundview Projects.
By Bronx River Projects. That is
Hmm.
correct. And that is where hip hop was born. That was where the Zulu Nation
Hmm.
was born.
Right.
And I only lived about 4 or 5 blocks from there, so I kind of was part of that community. I knew all those early hip hop guys by their original born names, not when they switched everything to their hip hop MC names.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but I knew all these guys. We all went to the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah, yeah.
schools, and I was influenced by a lot of all kinds of music, because back then the neighborhood was filled with a lot of cross references of ethnicities.
Mm.
So, and everyone kind of lived together back then in the same neighborhood, all kinds of ethnicities. So everybody brought their own foods and their own music to the
Mm.
to the neighborhood. So I kind of grew up in that environment, and
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that, because being inclusive to me is so important. So, as a kid, my parents had a lot of friends that were musicians, a lot. And so I kind of grew up as a little boy around those people, or those musical people. And for a strange reason, which only as an adult did I realize how unusual this was, the building I lived in was full of professional working musicians.
Hmm.
And that is really strange.
Right.
As a kid, though, I didn't know any better. I thought that that's how the world was,
That's
that
normal.
music was everywhere, and that everybody lived in a building with musicians. And I mean, there was a lot, bro, a lot. And they were all professional. Some of them were in Latin bands that had albums out. Um, everybody they were all working, pro musicians. So, I was listening to music from everybody's apartment. People be rehearsing their instruments. I had a trumpet player from Tito Puente's band living in there. We had the piano player from the Joe Cuba Sextet on Fania Records I mean, the whole building. My uncle,
Wow.
Wow.
my mother's
Can you
brother.
imagine?
Yeah, it was crazy. My
You
mother's
thought it was
brother,
supposed to be like
who,
that.
who
You
was
said
my
that's
uncle.
what's normal.
Yeah, who was my uncle Willie, who was my mom's brother. He
Mm.
also lived in the building, and he was a percussionist. He played for the Tito Puente Orchestra, which is a
Wow.
famous Latin
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mambo. He's one of the mambo
Of course,
kings.
of course.
Um, and so I was around all of this growing up. So of course, with all these male role models that were musicians, I felt, well, gee, I'm supposed to do the same thing.
Mm.
I'm supposed to be a musician too, because
Okay.
that's what I saw. So
Right.
I started to play music young. By the time I was 15 years old in high school, I already had my first band that we were already working illegally in nightclubs because we were too fucking young. But we were really good because we rehearsed all the time and we were tight. So we started doing that. I I got us signed to an independent record label in Manhattan called SMI Records,
Mm.
and that
Oh,
kind of started my recording career.
how'd you do
By the time I
that?
was by the time
Wow.
I was 16, I had my first Billboard magazine Hot 100 hit
Yeah.
on the radio. So
Wow.
we were going to high school in the daytime, and then at nighttime we were working illegally in nightclubs and shows,
Mm.
because we were kids.
Yeah.
You're too young to be performing in nightclubs, but they would hide us in the
What
kitchens.
what's the name of that
They
what's
would
the name of
hide
that
us in the kitchens, he said.
the book
Yeah,
so you was in those like what's the name of that place, Maddie? Studio, the
54, you talking
famous
about?
nightclub, Studio 54,
What?
stuff like was that
Studio
your time?
Yeah.
54. Yeah, well,
You were in there?
that was by the late 70s, early 80s.
Hmm.
Now,
You was on
by
there.
that time,
My
I
bad.
had joined another local band from the Bronx they lived about 3 blocks from where I lived. They were called GQ,
Right.
and they had just put out their biggest hit record. They came from the Bronx, the same neighborhood as me, but what happened was their drummer had some kind of problems,
Mm.
and he left the band right when the song hit gold and platinum,
Wow.
right when the hits
Oh,
were on the radio,
It's
and they
disco
were
nights,
stuck.
right?
Yes,
That
Disco
was, yeah.
Nights. And what happened with that was because they had that big hit at that moment, of course, the booking agent started to call the management of the band and say, "We want to put you on a world tour," but they had no drummer. So,
oh my God.
so my boy, who was the lead singer, his name Raheem LeBlanc, he knew that I was already working and an R&B disco type drummer, so he recommended me. I came down, I auditioned, got the job, and I stayed
Wow.
with them for 30 years, man. I ended up with my own platinum and gold records with that band, and I got to travel the world. So from there, while that was happening, I had joined another local band from the neighborhood called Seguida.
Hmm.
They were a Latin rock band, and that was really unusual
Hmm.
of combination of music at that time because the only other band that was playing Latin rock music was from San Francisco, and they were called Santana.
Ha
Oh, okay.
Okay,
ha.
so
Right.
Yes.
so we were considered that the newspapers and music publications here in on the East Coast started to reference us as being the pioneers of East Coast Latin rock music.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
Nobody
we
else
were
was
called
doing it.
Yeah.
Seguida New York Latin Rock was the name of the
And,
band.
and dude, would you say today? I mean, is there still a presence of that, or is it a lot bigger than it was back then? What like? Because
It's a
I don't.
lot bigger. There is no band
Right.
because what happened was the band, that kind of music required a very large band
Mm.
with a horn
Mm.
section, percussion section, singers. The band at some points was like 15 or 16 people. It was more like an
And that's
orchestra.
impossible to keep up, right?
Dude, the cost of that was
The little
astronomical.
people, it's
Mm.
impossible.
Mm.
It was really tough. So, we had to stop it, but I still kept producing and writing albums for that genre of music under that name, Seguida.
Yeah.
So if you go on any of the streaming service and you type in Seguida, you'll see like 5 albums that I produced. And all
Hmm.
that music is still selling. It's actually one of my biggest streaming money generating things that I have.
But it's very sampleable music though.
Yes, because it's
And it's
Latin.
good for, it's good exactly. It's always gonna be good for commercials. This music is
Yes,
timeless. You know,
yes,
that's
it's
it. At
timeless.
the end of the day, yeah, bro. It's New York City. It's the United
Yes,
States. It's American music. You know, it
yes,
touches
and
all
but
kinds of different genres.
With that
Yeah,
Latin edge, and
it's
that
undeniable
yeah,
music. You know,
absolutely, it's worldwide. So most of our sales come from around the world for
Hmm.
that
right?
streaming
Look.
Seguida
You
music.
know, funny. It's funny to look at the Super Bowl halftime show. The influence. You know. So
Oh
boom.
yeah,
You know that right there in itself. So
oh yeah,
We
yeah.
will get into that
I have a lot to
eventually.
say
Let's
about that
yeah,
later.
let's not go.
powerful music. No, I mean I'm just talking about the kind of music. We don't got to talk about the. I'm talking about the kind of music. It's just
Right.
Yes,
music with
it's
those
world music.
instruments.
That's world
Everyone can
music.
feel it.
Most
Everyone can
of
feel it.
most of your
World music.
streams, dude, comes internationally, or would you say you have more of a
I would
presence here
say,
in the
yeah.
states?
Wow,
I
I
get
agree
the
with that.
numbers every couple of months. They
South
send me the
America.
numbers. Yeah, South America, Spain, Europe,
Mm,
Australia, Japan. That's where most of our my music streams majority come from. There, I get a lot from here in the U.S.,
mm.
but worldwide. Right now, I'm at 4.8 million streams on my music right now,
Nice,
which is
nice.
Wonderful.
that's a
Yeah,
big number for me.
yeah, that's huge.
I'm just
Absolutely
one
huge.
guy,
Yeah, that's
So
that's
yeah,
amazing, man.
4.8
Yeah.
million. Yeah, so
Old time
so streams are
game.
doing well.
I don't even think
Thank
we've
you.
hit a million here on the YouTube page. We're close. I think like I'm at half a
You'll
million.
get there.
I think I'm
Yeah,
at
this
half a
You're
show is
always
million.
great,
staying
so you guys will
Yeah, yeah,
get there.
yeah.
Steve, you're always staying with the times, man. You're so good with the technology. You always
I
flow,
have
bro. You've
to.
always been progressive. And and I could tell does that have a lot to do with your confidence and your success? And I mean, in these modern times, a lot of guys don't keep their music, and you seem like you're always changing.
Yes, yeah. That's always been my approach since day one when I was a kid. Because I was so influenced by all that was, like I said, I came in that neighborhood that had such diversity. That stayed with me till this day. And what like you said, I try to stay on top of the technology and learn it. Right now, I'm working with all these new AI animation programs for projects that I'm actually going to be producing. I'm in the middle of producing two different animation cartoon shows.
Mhm.
One is for kids and one is for adults.
Yeah, we're
And we
gonna
could talk
feature
about that
that.
later.
Yeah, we're gonna feature that a little bit on the show, like I mentioned during the intro. I actually got around to watching it. Do you only have that one video? Because I didn't really see anything else on it.
No,
Uh,
nothing is really up except for
okay,
one little thing that I did
yeah,
to as a test.
and
But
it awesome.
when you see what's coming, it's going to be full episodes.
Mm, okay,
I'm actually going to start a new YouTube channel for my animation called Stellar Tunes,
okay, gotcha.
which is the first three letters of my wife Lori and my name, Stelor, Stellar. So
And we,
You're
so
always
it's
you
doing
Stellar
know,
that, man.
Tunes.
we'd be remiss
So
to
yeah.
not mention the wonderful Lori Rose as well.
Of
You know,
course.
who has been right by your side throughout
Oh
all of
yeah.
this. You know, she
Yeah.
was there from the early
From day
days, right?
one.
Day one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an artist in her own right.
Hmm.
She's a
Yes.
composer. She writes most of the lyrics for all the music I've done over the decades.
Wow.
She's also a performer.
Yes.
She's my co-worker for our production company, Onrada Music Works. So we together have been working on all these projects. We voice
That's
the
Adorno
characters.
backwards. That's
That is
Adorno
correct.
backwards, guys. So if
That's
you want to
correct.
spell it or
Onrada,
look it up.
you're right. That is correct. So she right now she helps me voice the characters for these new animation characters that we're doing. So she's done that. She has a background of being a flautist for the New York City Orchestra.
Mm.
When she was in high school, she toured Europe as a flautist. Um, so she's a musician. She plays percussion with my current band,
Mm.
VBNYC, the virtual band New York City, which is
Yes.
an R&B funk band. So she sings lead vocals and plays percussion also for that band. So yeah, she's used to do jingles on the radio. You used to listen to commercials that came between shows, and her voice was on a lot of that stuff over the years. So yeah, Laurie's been my partner in life, my soulmate, and my production partner. You know, and I'm blessed to have her in my life. We met in high school,
What a,
so
what a run, man.
I
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
Wow.
let's go back a little bit to the Seguida days.
sure.
You know, I was
Can
there
you
for
spell
one
that?
of
Can you spell that for the list for if people want to look it up, guys?
Seguida,
Yes.
Seguida.
EA. Yep,
Okay.
Yeah, there
seguida.
you go.
Pronounced
Seguida.
seguida. Now, seguida is the Spanish word for segue.
Mm,
Seguida, which means to follow quickly without interruption. That's
nice.
the definition of the word segue, and that's how. And it's called, the band was called that because when you came to see us perform, all our songs were connected. There was no break between the songs.
Right,
So you came
right,
to a
right.
concert. It was like a 2-hour concert of straight nonstop
Yeah,
music with no breaks.
yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. So that in Spanish they say, "Oh, you guys play that music seguida, quickly, without interruption."
Ah,
So
okay, okay, yeah, yeah. I
the
didn't
music
know that actually.
segued.
Yeah, yeah.
Each song segued into the next. So that word in Spanish is seguida.
And you know what? That's actually like my favorite type to watch. A lot of artists nowadays with these breaks, dude, like these 30,
So when
40-minute intermissions, you know, I'm
the
like,
music
like I
the
hate it.
music will relax, right? At the end, Steve, into the end of the song, you guys will be playing into the beginning of the next one.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Now,
transition right into it. Yeah.
Transition right into the next song.
Hmm.
And as we're transitioning, the whoever's going to be the lead singer of that particular song
Mm.
will say, and then yo, now we're going to be playing it. You know, as we're doing, as
Right,
the
right,
music's
right,
still
right.
going, kind of like hype up the name of the next song and where it came from, and then we go into fully into the
that
song.
thing
But the
goes.
music never stops.
Right.
Okay,
It's
yes.
kind of like how I transition sometimes with topics here on the show. I'll just do a little music, and then hype up the
Yeah,
next segment while transitioning from one to another. And I
yeah,
like
you're
that, man. That's so
segueing.
too. I love that. Instead of just stopping, I mean, I guess there's a place to for it where you stop. You want to talk a little bit about
Sure,
something, get
of
intimate with
course,
your crowd and all that. I could see it,
of
right?
course.
You know,
Yeah.
but that type of style, it keeps, and it's good for dancing. It's good for music. Keeps you
Yeah, it's
engaged.
good for
You
performance,
know, sure.
for a
Yeah.
band because this way the audience never gets a chance to catch their breath.
Mm,
Basically, you
mm.
want to keep
Right.
them on the edge, happy, jumping and moving, and that's how you do it.
You're giving them no time for piss breaks, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, go get yourself a beer, man, because we're gonna still be here playing.
I was there for one of the recordings. Forgive me, which
Yes,
Seguida
you were at the
album was? Was it the
studio.
original, the Seguida one?
Uh, no, no, you were
The
there for Seguida 3.
It was Seguida
Uh,
3. Okay, yeah, because it
yeah,
was back in '07. All right.
yes,
And
yeah,
we
yeah,
flew out to San Diego to go to your boy Jay's house, who was also
yeah,
helped producing that album. It was part of that
yes, yeah,
album, and that was just a crazy experience for me again at a young age. I was
yeah.
I think
To see the process.
freshman sophomore high school. Yeah, and just young, new to this,
Process.
and then yeah, just seeing the whole process, seeing how you guys work. That was I love that album honestly. That was one of my favorite by you. Definitely like just. It got those New
That
York
album,
vibes, San Diego vibes, like Cali
What,
vibes type shit. Like it
and
was beautiful.
if people that have that copy of that CD, you'll know that the album was dedicated to Matt's dad.
Mm,
wow.
It's written on the back of the CD
yeah.
that we dedicated that album to
Yeah, that was
him.
right after Pops passed away because he passed away in
That's right.
'07,
That's right.
early there in March. And, then
Yeah.
when was that? When did we go to Cali? I don't even remember. What
It
month
was in
was
the
that?
summer
It's
because it
in the
was pretty
summer, right?
hot. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
summertime.
I mean, it's always hot
And
out there, but yeah.
What's the name of
yeah,
the
yeah.
album? What's the name of the album, Steve?
El
The name of
Seguida
the album is
3.
Seguida 3.
Yeah.
E3,
Seguida and Roman numerals
Roman numerals.
111.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
111.
definitely some. I mean, I'm sure you
It's
like
on
all of it.
it's on
But there's
it's
some
everywhere. You
tracks,
can
man,
get
on there, man. That, you would definitely be vibing to for sure.
Oh,
I
for
know,
sure.
yeah, it's a
we
great
got
one.
we got early Latin hip hop tracks on there too, which
Right.
was the beginning of that happening,
Yeah.
the Latin hip hop thing. So there's a couple of
Mm.
tracks on there like that.
And then the pandemic hit and kind of changed
Shut
how
everything down.
you were able to do music for everybody. Whole music industry. If you're a performer, it changed everything, right? And you
Yeah,
came up with the excellent idea of since everything was then virtual, you came out that
yep,
project called the virtual band, and
that's correct.
or the V band, and
The V
Now,
band. That's right.
you rock with
Virtual
the
band.
name now. I've seen you guys perform, and a lot of the same, members from that you've used in the past, right? You got a couple of
Oh,
new additions,
absolutely,
or we're all the
absolutely.
same guys. You know.
My music family has remained the same since early days. I've been playing with some of these guys for 40 years now.
Mm,
Um, and the reason that that's happened is that we've all have the same drive,
mm-hmm.
and the guys I play with, they're all so talented. And in this particular band, the virtual band, um, these guys all have the same background and history that I have. Like my guitarist is Brian Lammers. He was the
Mm-hmm.
guitarist for Rick James's Stone City band. He was also the
Mm,
guitarist for a
wow.
famous band called Heat Wave, which had like
Okay.
big time R&B hits,
Yeah,
Always and
hits. Yeah,
Forever.
hits.
All these. My keyboard player is Curtis Styles.
Yeah.
Curtis was he's in Paris right now doing a
Nice.
show for one of his early bands called the Kinky Fox, and they had
Mm,
a lot of R&B disco jams back in the day and funk jams. So he's over there doing a show. He'll be back in a couple of days. He was also the keyboardist for BB&Q band, which also had
mm,
#1 hits. My saxophone player, he goes by the nickname Saxy Rick, and he
mm,
has been with Ohio
See
Players,
Rick.
Cool in the Gang, yeah, Cool in the Gang, Ohio
mm,
Players,
How do
Ashante.
you how do
So
you
all
do
my
that, Steve? Like you're talking about keeping the band together. Like
mm.
me and
yeah,
Maddie, I feel like we're a little bit of a band. And
yes, absolutely.
sometimes showing up. How do you show up like that for so long with all those guys on the same page? How do you do that?
Mm.
Because
It's the passion.
That's
It's
a
the
good question.
passion and the history. It's the passion and the history. We all have the same passion to do what we do. We also have we since we all came up together. It's like a we're like a team. And what happens is that we already at a level that we can just look at each other and we know we communicate by facial, and eye contact. We're almost like ESP as musicians with each other. We know each other's style of playing music. We all have the same background in the music that we personally love. So it's very intimate, the relationships. You know,
Was there ever a time where you felt like things were breaking down, where maybe the relationships were falling apart, or it was just a rocky moment in the history for any of your projects? You have any?
fortunately, not really.
Okay.
What does happen is occasionally that um, people may get busy with other projects that they've been contracted to do. So there might be a stretch of time where certain people aren't available
Right.
because they're working, and we're all freelance. That's how we live as artists. So when the work comes in, you got to take it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So because
there's
you
an
need that
understanding, but
paycheck.
there's always an understanding. I like that.
Yes, we all have that understanding with each other. So we give each other the space,
Mm.
but as soon as everybody's available, we come right back, bam, and then we just start right where we left
Mm.
off. And that's how we've
Yeah,
done it for the past 40 years, man. You know,
yeah.
I
and
guess.
it's and
That.
I guess it
you come
speaks
see us.
volumes. Yeah, it speaks
Yeah,
volumes to
right, Maddie?
because that's hard to do. You hear a lot of bands break up and a lot of feuds and things like that.
That's
Just
ego
life
shit.
gets in the way.
That that's
Yeah.
another thing. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm.
Bands break up because of individual ego shit.
Mm.
That's usually the main flame that burns their house down
Okay.
is personal ego shit. I'm blessed with guys that they check their ego at the door when they
Right.
walk in the
Right.
room. Okay.
Right.
And so we're family. So when we come in, we approach it like a family. You don't throw your brother out the door. You don't step on your sister. You don't do that shit. That's how we all came up. So we bring that to the band relationship. We are family. We are a family,
Right.
and we look out for each other. If somebody's in trouble, we know we can call each other and reach out and get help. We are a family. So that's the
Yes.
approach we take, and that's worked. It's worked for us. It's
Hmm.
kept us together for 40 years.
Right.
Understanding, leaving space when somebody has to step out to do some work. and we're always here for each other, right back where we goddamn left off.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that's it.
There's something to be learned for that, for sure. And
Oh
I,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely, Matty B.
yeah,
Absolutely.
right. Dub. I mean, you and me, we've been at this for a long time now. We certainly
Yes.
had our moments,
Not
and
40
life got in
years,
the way,
but yeah,
but you
All
know,
families got their moments. All
yeah.
families have moments, but you don't
yeah,
you don't
we've had
burn the
our
house
moments.
down.
No,
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 no.
we're
That's it. Yeah,
definitely. It meant, yeah, those words were very poignant with me, man. They resonated hard, and I took them in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Going
really did too, Matty.
looking back a little, Steve, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. You've
Sure.
played in so many different places.
Oh yeah.
Countries, whole night. What was, if you can even name a favorite? What's your favorite venue you played at? And who were you with the whole night?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have several. I would have to say for different reasons. Um, with GQ when I was touring, I got to play for like in the Cobo Arena,
Okay.
Madison Square
Cobo
Garden,
Arena. I was in Detroit. Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago, I played in Soldiers Field.
Right.
Right.
These were crowds of like 50, 60, seventy
Yeah,
thousand people.
2,000
That's insane.
Yeah.
stadiums.
And, here in here on the East Coast, I played in Giant Stadium.
All right.
Again, another 50, 60,000. We used to play the Budweiser Summer Festivals. And with all the name acts of the day.
Right.
And I love those because of the electricity of 50,000 people.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
you don't really see them face wise, but you feel them on that stage
Mm,
because you got 50 or 60,000 people focusing their energy on the stage where you're standing. And, some of those places were indoors, so you don't even see them because it's black.
okay. Yeah. Right. Right.
And the
Right.
lights are shining on the stage and on us, so we can't see past the lights.
Nothing. You can't see
But you
nothing.
can hear them and feel them.
Yeah, that's
So
so
that
weird, man.
that
That's so crazy.
it's a very unique, unusual feeling.
Yeah.
I loved it though. It's very electric. Now on the opposite end, I played at places like Studio 54, the Mud Club, all
Mm,
these like intimate clubs back in the day that were in New York City, the Electric Circus, CBGB's. I played at
oh
all those
man.
kind of
Wow.
places. Those are small venues, and what I loved about those was the intimacy of
Mm,
of a smaller crowd that's close to the
Yeah.
stage and feeling them and looking them right in the eyes,
right. Right.
and
Right.
and
Whereas
that's
the
a
70s and
different.
80s, imagine this, Maddie? The
What's that?
70s, 80s playing. Imagine, I was telling Maddie, like, imagine these clubs in the 70s and 80s that
Yeah.
Steve is playing in.
Oh man.
Everybody all
Sure.
sweating, dancing, and high as fuck, probably. Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
man.
man.
What,
I
It's a
got
wild
stories to
time,
tell about
man.
this
those
sounds
places,
like the
bro.
Carlito's way type, the Carlito way kind of music. This is what he saw that era.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
music scene.
Exactly.
The music scene's a lot different now,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
it's
Yeah, back in the day, it was the shit. There was tons of clubs. There was tons of clubs, and that's where people went. So the
yeah.
clubs were always sold out, full, and performing at the smaller clubs. So that's why when you asked me that question,
right.
it's a double-edged thing for me.
Mm,
Because like the big stadiums and coliseums were amazing, and
What
the
is it
little
like coming
the
out
little
to 70,000, Steve, and you come out there and there's 70,000 people in
yeah.
Chicago and you're about to do your thing with your people? Is it easy? After a
Yeah,
while,
well,
is it nothing, no big deal?
no, no. I have the same approach whether it's big. I always tell
mm,
tell other musicians that are coming up. It doesn't matter if there's 50,000 people or five fucking people in your audience.
yeah.
You got to walk out there and remember that's the first time they ever saw you,
Mm,
whether it's 50,000 or five people. Okay, so you got to give the same show, the same energy, and the same performance, no matter who you're standing in front of once you're on that stage. And that is how I've always approached it. So everyone gets the same energy from coming to see us play and do our thing, whether you bought a ticket in an arena or you came to a small intimate nightclub to see me. You're going to see the same show in both places.
mm,
you know and we're professionals. We've been doing this since we were kids, so the stage is like home to us. We're very comfortable on the stage,
right.
very. Plus, you know I always tell people that's when we walk on that stage, all of us, that's like we have our alter egos. You know, our
Mm,
I love
stage
that.
persona, you
I
know,
love that.
is different from hanging out with me like we hanging out here.
yeah.
You know, I
I
have to
love that.
raise my game when I'm on stage because people are paying for a performance. You know what I'm saying? They're paying money to be entertained, and that's my job. My job is to walk out there as a professional and entertain. Like in that movie where my man jumps out there in the Coliseum and says, "Are you not entertained?" You know, what was
Right.
that, Gladiator?
yeah.
That
Yeah,
is absolutely.
that's how I approach it. Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
Okay,
that, I
because
know you are because
I'm gonna give it all. I'm
you
gonna
gave it
give it
your all.
all.
So I know you're entertained because you know you gave it your all.
That's it. That's it. No excuses. You know, even if I don't feel well, you know, I've gone to perform on stage sick, you know,
Right.
and as soon as I sit behind those drums, bro, I don't feel nothing but power.
Do you ever
Jordan in
feel?
Utah.
Did you ever feel like there was a moment that was just maybe like a little too big? Did you fumble a little bit? You know, drop your sticks a
No.
little one too many times or something like?
You know what?
Yeah.
I've never dropped a pair of sticks ever, and
Get
that's
out! No
not
way!
once, not once, and that is
Believe it.
very unusual. Somebody
Believe it.
pointed that out to me recently and said, "Steve, you know
Not
I've been playing with
once,
you for I've never seen you drop a pair of sticks." No, no,
huh?
yeah, those
You
shits
don't.
are in my hand, bro, like a grip, like a baseball
You
bat,
don't.
man.
You know, and you don't do anything. No gloves, anything like that. Do you guys wear gloves?
No,
Is
no,
that a thing?
I need skin on wood, bro, skin
Skin,
on wood.
skin on wood, baby. Yeah, yeah. No, no little like like rock climbers use a little chalk. No little chalk, nothing.
No,
You know,
no rosin, no
no
rosin,
rosin.
just sweat.
Right, 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 right. Okay, I mean that's crazy, man. I mean that's a long time.
It
That's
is.
one hell of an accolade. That never dropped a stick, baby. Never dropped
No,
a
not even
stick.
at
No, that's big,
rehearsals,
man.
man. It's crazy. You know, I never even thought about that until somebody pointed it out to me. I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, you know, you're right.
right.
I never
I gotta
dropped a
talk about
stick.
it.
That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
It's crazy.
All right. I think maybe it's a good time to feature, one of your latest. I don't know. This was the spending my time with you. That was the
Oh
one
yeah,
that we
that's
agreed
brand
on.
new. That's
Okay. Yeah.
brand
All
new.
right.
Yeah.
So that we'll try to play that for all intents and purposes. YouTube. This is my cousin, so don't shut down my stream. Because this is his music. There's
Right. We're
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, this is the real
Little,
guy right here. He's giving me
little
permission.
Little R&B and
Yeah.
soul for everybody.
You
Let
got
me
permission,
just
Steve, right?
let me get that queued up for you guys here.
Cue it up. Cue it
But
up.
Dub, did you have anything you wanted to ask
Nah,
Steve while
not in
I
the moment.
while I queue this
Oh,
up?
okay. Man. So back to the original days, Steve, when you were in the neighborhood, you talk about you were 16, 17.
Yeah,
How did you make those deals? Like a 16-year-old you were saying earlier, how did you manage wiggle around?
that's a good
Did you have to
question.
have some smarts or did you
Mm.
fall into something? Did you meet
No.
someone? Is there any
Especially in a day and age where there's no social
how
media,
did you
right?
connect
So
like that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, how did you
Okay.
connect?
Okay, so imagine this. I didn't know enough about the music business to know that that's not how you do things.
Mm.
So, so I would just go ahead and show up and actually physically find where the office of the record company was,
And you
knock
went
on
up
their
there.
door, okay, and make an appointment to talk to the A&R person, or audio research, arts and research person, and sit there and they'd look at me like I was crazy. You know, I say, who's this kid walking into my goddamn office?
Right.
I felt like I didn't know that that's not how it's done. You know,
But you
Okay.
usually it's
said
done
also you grew up in a building that you thought music that this is the world. So it probably
that
you're
Well, so
that's
so
what it
how
was.
so educate
you're
us a little
That's
also
bit.
your peak.
exactly it. That's
Educate us a
exactly it.
little. Dude. Like, so how it was it supposed to be done? You're supposed to.
Right.
Well, the way it's usually done is you have a manager or an agent
Okay.
that represents you, and they will bring demo recordings. They'll
Mm,
make an appointment to meet that department of the record company that signs new acts, and that person does the talking because they're a professional middle person. That's what their job is, management
okay.
or band manager. But I didn't have. I was the manager
No.
of the band. So what we ended up doing was right before that happened, we ended up printing up 545 disc records, vinyl records of a song that we wrote. And we printed up our own label. We put our own label on it. And we used to give them out at the gigs
Okay.
that we show. So I brought a few of those with me down to the office. And I knocked on the door, and I guess they were amused by my young ass. Okay.
Right.
And they listened. They said, "All right, come here. So let's see what you got." They played the single. I showed them photos because if you, Matt, you remember my father was a heavy photographer.
Yeah.
So I had tons of photography of us at shows and us in the band in action. So I brought a lot of that with me. Sat down and told them who we were, told them my background, that we were neighborhood kids, that we were performing, and we had made our own recording. And a week they listened to me. They said, "Okay, we'll get back to you." About a week later, they called me back and says, "Why don't you come back down and so we can give you a contract?"
Nice.
And I was like, "What?" And I said, "Okay." So I came down, went down, picked up the contract, and then my friend from another record company hooked me up with one of the major entertainment lawyers in New York City at the time, a guy named William Krasilovsky, who was like the manager. He was the lawyer for like the Bee Gees, Donna Summer. Like he was big time. So I went to go meet him, and he was so impressed that a 16-year-old kid was doing all of this, had a band, was a band leader, was writing songs, was booking gigs. He was very impressed with what I was doing. So he took me on as a client, and he handled for years until he retired. He handled all my legalities with all the
he
things
was right.
I've done.
He was right about you, man, because here you are 50 years later almost,
Yeah.
you know.
Still doing it,
And you're
man.
still doing the same solid consistency, very sturdy. What a
And I
great life
learned.
you've lived, Steve.
I learned so much from him because he taught me. I knew the music side of things and production, but he taught me the music business. You know, I always tell people music business is two words. You know, it's two words, music business. It's music, and that's one thing, but there's business. And if you don't know that business, if you don't know the business, you won't be successful because it's not about just making music. You know, there's a game to this.
That's been known to be shady and have underworld workings and even criminal workings and thieving and all a bunch of shady shit that happens in the background. And you're 16 in it, and then you have this guy and say, "Hey, kid, come on, I got you," and that's great.
Well, he was very straight up guy. You know, before he was an entertainment lawyer, he was the district attorney of the state of Alaska. So he was deep. He was deep into the law, this man.
Okay.
And when he switched over to the music business, he was very successful. All his acts were like #1 platinum acts that he was representing as their lawyers. So, and he was an honest guy. He wasn't a thief. And he actually taught me how to avoid the thieves. He would if I had contracts to work with, he would go over them with me and say, we're taking this out. We're taking this out because this is all illegal shit. We're taking that. I mean, he taught me. He taught me how to read contracts, how they're supposed to be, as opposed to how the thieves write shit into them that you don't see. You know, so yeah. So that's how that all happened.
All right.
So there's so many nightmare stories in the music business, you know.
Oh, bro, I got stories to tell.
Right.
All right.
You know.
Let's debut. It came out 10 days ago on YouTube. Check them out. Stevie Beats Adorno. All right. Go hit that subscribe button. Keep those notifications on. Hit that bell for them. All right. Spending My Time With You. Featuring Steve Adorno. All right. Here it is. spending my time with you. Yeah, how about it? There is his latest. The man, the myth, the legend, Stevie Beats. All right, gotta love it. Talk a little bit about that one, dude. That's and for those that you don't know, I call him dude. All right, he is the dude. The dude
Yeah,
abides. All
I'm the
right.
dude.
If you
I
ever
am
if
the
you ever
dude.
watched The Big Lebowski, okay, you know the dude abides.
The
He is the
dude.
dude in my family.
The guy.
Okay. But
This
yeah,
is true.
give us a little insight into what went into that one, making
Okay,
it, the whole
sure,
nine.
sure.
Yeah.
The song was written. I wrote that one by myself. Usually, I have like Lori writing with me or another partner, but this one was completely written by myself.
Okay.
It's got that old school '80s, late '80s, early '90s Jack Swing kind of a feel.
Right.
Because I try to always experiment with different genres of R&B because there's so many genres within the genre of R&B and soul music. So I try to I always test myself when I'm composing in that genre. I like to
Okay.
try new ideas. The song was really was influenced by an experience that I had with Lori, my wife.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
we in the summer times we used to we made it a point to go on daytime picnics once a week to the park
Okay.
and just bring like a little picnic basket, find a really nice bench, and just share and bring music on off the phone,
Mm.
and just spend time together. That had nothing to do with anything except being together.
Right. 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 Being a little
Not the
present.
music, not the house stuff. It was just being together. Like when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like almost like a date thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Nice little love
so
song right there. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so the song is a love song, and I wrote it about how I felt being with her,
Mm.
and because I enjoyed doing that with her so much that I got inspired to write a song about it.
Right, so,
Mm.
So the lyrics, if you listen to the lyrics closely, it's about, you know, uh, always looking out to be with her, always finding
Mm-hmm.
the time to spend my time with you, and
Right.
that's the hook of the title.
I dig
So
it.
that's really where the song came from. It's really sort of a homage love song to my wife Lori.
Mm.
So and I just try to make it funky and groovy, and fun.
Always. Always.
Yeah. So that's
Definitely.
where
so that
that's where
leads
that
me.
song.
I got a question, real, Matt.
Yeah. Sure.
So you were talking about how that the picnics and the at the park
Yeah.
inspired you. When you're not inspired, you have writer's block. What do you do? Like, how does or do you ever have it?
Mm.
Sure.
Or when
Yeah,
you're creatively, what do you do when you're struggling creatively?
Good question.
most people or most artists, whether they're painters or authors, dancers, anybody that's creating, musicians, yeah, we all experience moments of block,
Mm.
and it's usually what causes I've learned over the years what causes writer's block is that you are not doing enough in other parts of your life to
Hmm.
experience more outside life.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
if
All
you've
That's
been
a
right.
too
good point.
focused on, yeah, if you're too focused on one thing, you will run out of gas for that car, that the
Hmm.
creativity car. Okay. So what
Yeah.
I
I
find is
feel
to,
that,
to
man.
yes, that's because what happens is if you're too locked into the same routines, you
Hmm.
will run out of inspiration because there's nothing around you happening from the outside to spark
How
new
did you learn
things.
that? How did you figure that out? Wow.
Yeah, well, it took a while,
Mm.
but once I realized that was the case, um, if I went into writer's block moments, I would try not to write any music. What I would do is I would go out. I would start making more time on my schedule to be somewhere else, to go see
Mm-hmm.
another
Mm-hmm.
band, or to go to a museum, or just to go to the park with my wife and have a picnic, or or in one case, which was recently, I had gone through a really big mm, chunk about it 2 years ago of several months of being in a block.
Okay.
So to break the block, I went to Italy with my
Nice.
wife, and we spent 3 weeks in Italy. Okay. By the time I got back, I loved Italy so much, and the experience of being in another culture such as Italy, of all places, was
Yeah.
so beautiful,
Yeah.
and the food was amazing. Um, but that the experience of going through that, when I came home, I wrote an entire album which was Espiritu, the Brazilian jazz album that I just have out on the market right now. That album came from my experiences in, even though it's Brazilian music,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the inspiration and
Why
energy of the
you're a guy
creativity.
from the Bronx and you're selling Brazilian music to Brazilian people in Brazil. Yo, how do you pull
Yes.
that? Like, that's incredible.
Well, I could explain that really quickly. Growing up as a kid, my father was a what we would call an audiophile. He collected albums. He loved music and had hundreds of albums in his collection. He wasn't locked into one kind of music. He loved all kinds of music, from Latin to bebop jazz to rock to
Mm.
Latin rock to salsa. He to classical music. He had albums in all genres. So my brother and I grew up in a house where that music was constantly being played 24/7 because my mother loved music. So when he was out at work,
So,
she was playing the albums. One of the albums
right.
that one group that he loved was Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66, who
Okay.
was a Brazilian pop band.
Yeah.
And I ended up loving that music too because they played it so much and this music was so good. At the same time, my wife was growing up at the opposite end of the Bronx. I didn't know her yet, but her father, who was also a musician, a guitar player, that she grew up in that same environment like me, as a kid, he also loved Sergio Mendes and
Hmm.
Brazil 66 and had the
Crazy.
exact same albums. So when I met Lori in high school, we discovered talking to we both loved Sergio Mendes
Right.
and that she listened to the exact same albums I did.
That's
So
crazy. Yeah.
A lot of
we
this Bronx hip
always
hop
had
was influenced you even now.
what's that?
Now your hip hop is even so influenced by this music.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Mm.
Because of the rhythms. Brazilian rhythms are amazing. The
Mm.
beats. So yeah, a lot of music.
the
Well, when I
beginning,
went to
yeah,
Italy, when I was in Italy, I was listening to a lot of Italian music, but they were influenced by the Brazilian rhythms. So a lot of their music, even though they were singing in Italian, the musical part of what they were doing was Brazilian. So I was listening to that and it reminded me of the childhood music I grew up
yeah,
with listening to. So when I came home, Lori and I had always, for years, had said, one day we got to do a Brazilian jazz album. One
Mm.
day.
Mm.
Well, that day came because
Right.
after we got back from Italy, I said to Lori, or she said to me, she goes, Steve, I think it's time for us to do that Brazilian project. And I looked at it, I said, you know what? You're right. My writer's block went away.
Mm.
I
right there,
jumped
man.
into that that album, which is on Spotify and all that. You can check it out. It's called Steven. Just Google my name on iTunes or Apple Music or Spotify or whatever you got. Pandora. Just do and it'll come up. You'll see it's Espiritu, and listen to a couple of the tracks of that and check it out because it's deep. It's deep, and it's gotten a lot of streams are happening with that project, and it's worldwide because Brazilian music is world music. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I was
so
wondering
that's
where
how you
the
break.
influences came from that,
Yes,
why you
that's where you
decided. Yeah.
break. That's how you break writer's block. You
Mm.
go out and influence yourself. And expose yourself to other outside experiences for a while, and your brain will record all of that, and before you know it, you start getting more creative ideas because you just got inspired by wherever the hell you were.
Mm-hmm.
then the switch just goes on. That's when the switch goes on.
It's a natural thing. Yeah, it happens naturally.
I totally
You know,
understand it. It's actually something that I kind of have my own version of writer's block. Just not
sure.
necessarily
Oh, I imagine.
in coming up with content because I could come up with content, but for me it was reinventing my passion for things because
Yes.
I felt like I was getting into a constant routine of like I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, and it was just like
Yes.
the
Exactly.
same
That's what
thing
he was
every
saying.
day,
That's
every
what he
day,
was just
every
saying
day.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when it came down to like some of my workout regimens, I've been obviously, marathon running and all that. Having run
Yeah.
5 marathons last year,
Yeah,
it
man.
just
Amazing.
became it just but it a part of that, it became too much. It became like, especially trying to handle the podcast on the side, it was like I was
Sure.
constantly going 110% and just not allowing myself to live outside of that realm.
Yes, that's
You
what
know what I'm
happens. That's how the
saying?
block comes.
And it was a matter of like I was getting confused as to what direction I wanted to go in and what I wanted to do and why I
Yeah,
wanted to
you
do it.
asking
And
yourself these
you
questions that you
know,
couldn't come up with answers for.
right. And
Yes.
it was my own version of the writer's
I
block,
know.
and
I know exactly
you
what
know,
you mean.
and I've had to recently kind of just acknowledge that, self-reflect a little bit, and kind of
Sure.
take a step back and realize, okay, let's,
Yes.
and do some things for myself, some things I rather enjoy doing, as opposed to like feeling like I have to do this, or I have, like it's
Correct.
like,
Correct.
and
Well, what you do, the best way to recharge that battery is to get out of your environment, take a vacation, go somewhere
yeah,
that is not
yeah,
where
Switch it
you
up.
always are,
yeah, yeah,
and
Switch the
and
style up.
realize that the
Switch it
world
up.
is bigger than the world that you're living in at home.
right,
And
right,
once you do that, you will find that your brain will naturally, on its own, assimilate to what you absorbed when you got out of your environment, and you bring that back with you when you come back, and you find that suddenly, you feel refreshed in your mind, and your creativity, gets refueled and refired, and
right.
that's how that works. That's just a natural thing, regardless of what you're doing as a creative,
Mm-hmm,
uh,
mm-hmm.
uh, venue, whatever you're doing as a creative thing, you're always going to run into that block, that point where it's the same, and it's locked up. Get out of it. Go somewhere.
Right.
Spend a week somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's
works.
exactly
It
what I'm
works.
I'm about to do. I've taken a step back in terms of what I normally do with content creating and just my own workout regimen. I kind of just, eased off a bit because I just felt like I
Yeah,
needed it, and
yeah,
I've
yeah.
been going so hard for so long, and I just felt like, all right, I need a break from it. And next week, as much as I would love to travel internationally, it's just not in the cards right now. But that's coming in the next few years. We got a Japan trip planned and all that. I
Yeah,
can't
man.
wait for that. But
Yeah.
and I would love, we were even thinking of going uh Hawaii, at the end of the
Yeah.
year,
I've been to
so
Hawaii. It's
I
amazing.
know,
I
I know,
loved
yeah.
Hawaii. Oh my
There's a
God, Hawaii.
there's a marathon out there in December, so
Mm.
I'm
Oh,
thinking about doing a destination marathon.
oh
There, that
man,
would be amazing, right? So
that
like,
would be.
it's still very expensive, as you know, so to get
Yes.
there, so we're trying to figure out financially we could swing it. But next week I'm going up to Lake Placid, it's a place I love. I've been, and me. My refresher is going into those damn mountains. Every time I come out, I feel
Yeah.
just good, refreshed,
That's what I'm talking about. Just getting out
revitalized.
of your normal thing. Yes, get
Yes.
out of your environment, and it works.
Yes, yes, and yeah, it's very much needed. I'm also trying to go see Dubby in March. Go
Yeah,
down there. So
yeah.
that's
Spring
definitely going to
training.
be
Do it.
nice. Spring training
Do it.
baseball, trying to do that.
Do
So
it.
yeah, it looks like we're coming. It looks like we're coming, but again, financials. But yes, like you said, it's a very strong point. And Dub, that's a great question right away. Talk about the whole
Yeah.
writer's
Good
block
question.
thing.
Thank you.
It's very important to get out of your mundane routine, and especially if you're finding some sort of block like that, change it up, switch it up a little bit. and
Switch it up.
and I would say even on a
It works.
smaller level, at home, like, just, maybe, see a friend you haven't seen, do something, go
Right.
out, do an
Right.
activity you
Break,
haven't done in a
break
long
the
Yes.
time.
monotony.
Situation, break the, yeah,
Change your routine.
yeah,
Change the routine. It works.
yeah. Especially nowadays,
I do.
man, social media, everybody's wrapped up in the phones, things like that. We talk about the music
Yeah.
culture early on in the show, how the music scene, the culture itself was a lot different back in the day. Now, I think
Yeah.
social media, everybody having a phone, it's changed that. Just the way you
It's
consume
not good.
music
It
has
wasn't a
changed.
good change.
Yeah.
It's not a good
No,
change.
I mean, don't you hate the fact that
Before it seemed like it was a group. You consume music. It was almost you had to consume it together. Like
right,
the Walkman
Yes.
wasn't even
right,
out like that. They didn't even
Yeah.
have Walkman.
right,
Yeah.
So consuming the music individually was rare. You had a radio in your room or whatever. It was still your brother was there, your sister was there. But you always
Right.
used to consume music with someone. But now, most likely, you're consuming it by yourself.
yeah,
Yep.
more times than not.
which is
Or-
not what music is supposed to be about.
Or
Club is almost dead.
Yeah, it is.
now,
It's
Dub,
sad.
Dub, just to add on that, or you got the weird situation now where you're at a live venue, but it almost feels as if everybody's
Yeah.
individually
You got- they got
consuming
them-
it as
They got
not
some venues where everyone got headsets on and they listen to their own music.
right. It's like
Yeah.
we're not even like
Like that.
dancing with each other. It's like weird. Or you go to a concert, everybody's got their phones up, and it's like you're not even in the present moment. You're not really experiencing it,
No.
as you should. Like I don't do that. I
There's
personally.
something happening.
I go to a concert, I go to a game, I very rarely break out my phone. I really don't. I don't even like the idea of recording it on your phone because how many times do you actually go back and watch that video, by the way?
No, you're not gonna like that shit.
Like, it's the honestly, at that point, it's only for social media, just for you to pop up there and be like, yeah, I was there.
And if you don't
Like,
post it that night, you're not. It's done.
you
If you
know.
don't post it right there, you're never gonna do it.
And that's
Right,
why
exactly.
And that's why I respect artists who try and prevent that. Comedians, musicians. They take away your phones. Like Bruno Mars. I didn't know that Bruno Mars. They take away your phone if you go to a concert. That's why you don't see a lot of his clips. Because like weird, individual grainy clips and all that from people's phones because they
Yeah.
wrap up your phone for a show. I went to go see Dave Chappelle at the Garden for hip hop's 50th anniversary.
Yeah, I remember that.
They took away your phone. That was
yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? And it made for a better experience because you just had no choice
Absolutely.
but to be present, but to
That's
be
right.
there,
It's
man.
better-
Like,
it's better for you, man.
yeah, it's
To
and
watch it that way.
it's a
consume it that
shame.
way.
It's a shame how the current culture has changed that. And yeah,
live performance was meant to be shared as a community kind of
Right.
experience.
mm,
And if people that are doing that are taking away from that very important ingredient, okay, in live performance, it's a community shared thing.
right.
So
Right.
and I'm happy to hear that some of these guys shut down the phones because
Oh yeah, yeah.
because not only does it take away that problem, but you also have to understand that the performance is the performer's intellectual property.
Right,
Okay.
Right.
exactly.
That
Yeah.
part. That part.
So to record it and start spreading it around devalues
Yeah.
the experience of the performance, and that's what
Yeah,
your
that-
people
that's
are
what I
paying
said.
for.
Right.
Bruno Mars can't just find him on there like from someone's phone
Right.
because
Yeah.
he doesn't have him in there. So it makes his seeing him more valuable. Like period.
Right. That's the point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You go back to that, like I referenced the Dave Chappelle comedy at MSG. Like I've till this day have not seen one small clip. And there was he had an actual concert. Like there was people that came out, played music. It was crazy. Like the amount of artists that show. It was
But
nuts.
you had to be there. You son of a gun.
That was
You
it. It
wasn't
was
there,
one
oh,
and
well.
done. You weren't there. That's it.
Oh,
And
well.
it's like it becomes legend. It becomes folklore. Type thing.
Right.
It's
That's how
it's
it
weird.
should be.
Right. And it's
That's
just
how it should be. That's
But
that-
you
how
know
it
how
should
they
be.
are nowadays, guys. If they ain't posted, it ain't happen.
right,
Right.
You know?
right,
That's
right,
how
right,
they do
right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some- but
People are
you
gonna
gotta
question
like-
whether or not I was there. Right.
But listen, F them. Sometimes, a lot of times, F them. We have to kind of keep it, keep it G, like keep it the way
Yeah.
it was originally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving here. Again, just a quick, we'll throw in a little promo for you again. This is, my third cousin, Stevie Beats Adorno. Check him out, YouTube, all over. All of his stuff
my
is on
fourth
all the
cousin.
platforms. Dub's cousin as well. He's a
Cousin Dub, cousin Dee.
he is, very special to me, of course. He's an amazing artist. Going, we've talked about his history a lot, going all the way back to the 70s, and it's still to this day, the ability to be able to make music and do that and just continuously going. He's mentioned the different various projects over the years and everything that he's done. Did I read somewhere correctly that you even wrote a score for an off-Broadway show? Is that correct?
Two of them.
Two of them.
Yeah, two.
Jesus.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah. Right there you go.
Tell
Like
us.
the talents, man. Yeah. Just
Real quick.
what were those off Broadway's shows?
I was working with this. At the time, I was working at the famous Copacabana nightclub.
There you go.
I
Come
was
on,
my
man.
my
Come on,
friend.
man.
My friend was he owned a sound company, and the Copacabana nightclub used to contract his company to supply sound equipment for their shows at the
Mm,
Copacabana. So he every once in a while, because I also went to school for audio engineering
mm.
back when I was like 15. I got a degree in recording arts and sciences. So I have recording engineer skills. I thought that as not being as being a musician and a drummer wasn't enough
Right. Yeah.
to be go into the the business that I wanted to go into. So that I needed to know the process of recording music
Mm,
and how to produce music. So I took those courses and ended up getting that. So my friend who I went to high school with, he started this company that is a sound company, sound reinforcement, and the Copacabana had contracted him, so he sent me a lot of times to be the stage manager for the shows
mm.
and work the audio console to do
At the
live
Copa.
mixes at the Copa. So I was there, and I used to work with the lighting guy who did the light shows there, and his name was James Scruggs, who was a a young guy at the time, and he was black, and he was a gay black man
Okay.
in that neighborhood of Manhattan, which was like all white,
Mm,
people, and so he used to write one man off Broadway shows uh, and they were usually biographical. He would write shows about what he was going through as a gay black man in New York City,
mm.
and he was this great. He was a great guy, though. He
Around
was
what?
really
Around what
one.
time? Around what time was this?
This would be
What year?
probably around 2000 to between 2000 and 2010. In
Mm.
Okay.
that's when I was working there. I worked there for about 6 years at the Copa.
Wow.
Um, so uh, I met him, and he found out. I brought Seguida in one time, the Latin rock band, to perform there at the Copa, and he of course did our lighting for my band, and he was like, "Wow, man, you guys were great." He goes, "You write all this music?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is." He says, "You write Latin and R&B?" Because he knew I was with GQ, but
Hmm.
that's that's R&B and discos. He was surprised that I did Latin music. So he says, "I'm writing these two new plays that I have a production budget for, and I was wondering if you could be interested in writing the music scores for my plays." He says one of them is going to be tango,
Mm.
which is Argentinian music. Tango is a type of dance,
Right.
and it's also the
Of
music
course.
that goes with that dance. It's called tango. And I said, and I happen to, as usual, my ears, I grew up listening to all music because of my dad. So I knew what tango was. And I said, I would love to try that. I said, so I hooked up, and I ended up writing two scores for his two separate plays. And they debuted
Damn, Steve.
for on in off Broadway for about 2 weeks each.
Wow.
So that was really a learning
Steve,
experience for me.
sometimes it feels like talking to you this last hour or so. A lot of times you were in the right place at the right time, bro.
That is the
I swear
goddamn
to God.
truth. Okay. That's another thing about being in it. You gotta to be in it, you gotta be out there around,
Right.
because
Right.
you
Yo,
never know what opportunities are gonna present themselves
you
in
gotta
front of
come
you out of
outside.
nowhere.
Mm.
You gotta come outside.
You gotta come outside.
Yeah.
So I was always finding things to do to be involved in, because I always thought of anything that I did was going to be a learning experience that I could add to my skill list.
No
So,
doubt.
I would always make myself available. Whether I got paid or not was never even, a thing.
Right. Right.
It was just to have the opportunity to do different
Right.
things was going to be educational to me. And that was going to be a tool I could add to my belt, you know? So that's kind of how that popped up. That which a lot of things happened to me that way, because I was, like you said, in the right place at the right time at the right moment.
Man,
So
blessed, man. God, thank you. Blessed.
yeah, but, the God was watching my ass or something
Man,
because things
man.
would definitely open up in front of me, and I was never the type of guy who backed away. If
No,
something
you grab the
seems,
prosperity. If you grab opportunity, yeah. Even
yeah,
in the good
I'm the guy that
things,
if I see something, I walk right into it and say, okay, what's
right.
going on here? What's this?
Right.
Oh, okay, that's
Right.
what this is. What can I help? you know, and
Wow.
that's how I approach everything in my life.
Yeah,
And that shit makes shit happen. It makes shit happen.
I'm definitely trying to adopt, that approach when it comes to,
Man,
what we do here. And I've learned that you
Yeah,
really just gotta, do things, put yourself
just
out
gotta
there.
do.
Yeah,
Gotta
sometimes
do.
it's not always going to work. It's not always
That's
going to
right.
be, what you hoped
Even that's a
for.
learning experience when it
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
work.
You don't see it, you learn in failure, right? You learn in failure.
Yes,
That's where,
absolutely. I learned
you
mostly
know,
in failure.
you do, right. You're gonna fail majority of the times but that's
That's
where the
right.
learning, it begins. and
That's
and and
correct.
and just taking that step, a lot of the times Dub and I, we talk about this a lot. We talk about it on Mental Mondays. It's just, being in our heads, the stories we tell ourselves is preventing you
Yeah.
from taking that step and learning a new skill
Right.
or doing
Right.
something. And it's just,
Show
you
up.
have to do it, man. Right?
Gotta show up.
You got to
That's
keep
it.
showing up, man. That's the name of the game. And like
Yeah,
Steve
it
said,
is.
you don't put yourself out there, nothing's really, it's not going to come to
Nothing
you.
if you don't
happens.
show up,
You know?
if you don't show up, you're not going to be in the right place at the right time.
No,
That
You know
thank
what I'm
you.
saying?
That's
no,
it. You got it. You got it.
no. And even if, somebody handed to you on a silver platter, I guarantee you're still not even going to take the initiative because you're not putting yourself in that mindset and that frame of mind to warrant that type of opportunity. So
Correct.
it's just one thing that you really have to work on. And
Yeah.
hey, these things, like, you've been in the business 40 years. It's not, doesn't happen overnight.
Nope.
That's for
It
sure.
doesn't.
That's another thing
Doesn't.
that you got to get your mind out of. So that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. One of the other projects you're working on is an animated cartoon. We talked about it. I can't wait to actually show Maeve this. Pretty sure she's gonna like it. All right, there's a little short story, director's cut that you put out on your page on YouTube. I don't know if it's on the other platforms. Is it?
Not yet. It's only
Okay.
on YouTube right
Only
now.
on his YouTube page. Check it out. Stevie Beats Adorno. All right. It's a short story about a young boy who hears music coming from inside the wall of his apartment. It's a tale how being kind, welcoming, and including others, and no matter how different they are, makes room for new friends and new possibilities. We're gonna play that for you guys here. We're not gonna play a little bit of it. It's about 11.
Yeah.
The director's cut's like 11 and a half minutes long, so I'll play
No,
about a
just play a
minute.
little piece.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little intro because the intro basically, outlines what I just said there. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about that. All right, let me populate this up for you guys. All right, all right. Yeah, I'll take our faces off for the sake of it so they could see the full vid. All right, guys. Here we go.
Can I still talk to you?
Danny! Danny, come on down. Breakfast is ready. And I don't want you to be late for school. Did you hear that music again late last night?
Yes, Mom, I heard it again.
Well, I think it's probably coming from Mrs. K's house.
I don't think so, Mom. I heard it coming from the wall.
Well, let's just ask her and see what she says. Knock on her door before you go to school. Mrs. K will be happy to see you. And I'll tell you a secret. I heard it too, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Danny, have you been hearing that music again?
I'm the kid who whispers through the cracks.
Yeah, Dad, I'm hearing it again. I hear it right now. It's coming from over here. Right here.
Dust my crew. The
Yeah.
world out there.
Right inside the wall. Here. Right here.
I'm living in the wall. Yeah, I'm living in the wall. Hear me knock, but don't you call. I'm just a boy living in the wall. I paint my days with the squeak of rats. Compose my nights in the thump of bass. The moon peeks in through an ghost in your plasticine. I'm living in the wall. Yeah, I'm living in the wall.
Okay.
Hear me knock, but don't you call. I'm just a boy living in the wall.
All right. Yeah. All right. That's a little sneak peek into the director's cut of the animated
Great.
cartoon, The Music
Sure,
in the
sure.
Wall. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool concept
Who was
right
that?
there.
Yeah, man. Look at it.
You
It's
know.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's got a moral tale to it. It was actually written by my friend, my new friend, Dan Regan,
Mm.
who's a 91-year-old author that
Wow.
I was introduced to recently,
Wow.
and he asked me to animate some of his kid stories. So I started
Wow.
with this one, and this story is about this little boy who lives in the Bronx with his family in a Bronx tenement building, not unlike
He
the
looked
one
like a
I live
Bronx
in
kid.
now. Yeah, Bronx kid. Um, and he hears at night, he hears music coming out of one of the walls in his bedroom all the
Mm.
time, and he wonders, what is this? So next morning he wakes up and his mom says, "Hey, did you hear that music again last night?" And he says, "Yeah, Ma, I did." And she says, "Well, maybe it's my next door neighbor. Why don't you go knock on her door on your way to school and ask her what the music was? Because it was really good, and I'd like to get some of that music."
Right, right.
So the kid goes next door, knocks on the door, and he says, "Hey, we heard the music. It was great. What was it?" And she looks at him and she says, "I thought the music was coming out of your apartment." She said, It wasn't me." So they're both confused. So the next night he stays up late. He doesn't go to bed and he waits to hear the music.
Hmm.
And sure enough, the music starts again. And he finds what part of the wall it's coming out of. And there's a little crack, a hole on the bottom of the wall. And it turns out, as a surprise, that it's this little family of musicians and they're cockroaches. But they're that they're a family of musicians.
Nice.
And they play, and there's, if you watch the cartoon, that they're Pixar style animation is what I'm using, so they're
Mhm.
really cute little bugs,
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
family of bugs. And the animation is really great. If you watch the musical sections of the animation,
Mhm.
they came out fantastic when you see them
Yeah,
playing
it looks
and
great.
singing the songs. And the moral of the story is that when the whole building finds out that there's this family of roaches living in the wall, they're all horrified. And they're like, get
Get them
these
out,
roaches
right?
out of here.
Get them
They're
out.
disgusting. They're dirty. They get them the hell out.
Right.
But the character whose name is Danny, he tells them, wait a minute, you were here all hearing the music and you all loved it. And the minute you saw who they were, you want them out of here. And that's not right.
Right.
Just like there's
Right.
good people, just like there's good people and bad people, there's good roaches and there's bad roaches. And you love
Oh,
their music. So why don't we help them? And the people decide that, that they change their minds, they're gonna help the bugs, and they give them their own apartment, and everybody lives happily ever after. And the moral of the story is that even if you're different, even if you're not the same, if you look different, if you are different, it never use that to judge people until
Mhm.
you know who
no.
they are. And once you know who they are, and you find that they're good people, you can become friends, and you can have a great lifelong relationships with people who are different than you, as long as you give them the opportunity to let them know who they are and you accept them. And that's what the moral of the story is really about.
Mm.
All told through these roaches in the wall.
That's awesome, man. I have your Instagram page up for the people right now. If you guys want to check them out, there it is. All right, Stevie Beats Adorno. I think this is your personal page. You have two different pages. You got Steve
Yeah,
Adorno and your Stevie
I'm
Beats
mostly on the
Adorno.
personal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mostly on the
That's why I
personal.
showed the personal one there, and I could also pull up the YouTube page for you guys as well, as we just watched the music in the wall, the director's cut. That's exclusively on his YouTube page. All right, here it is for you guys. All right, and he's got features all the music, the new music videos, everything. Please go do him a favor. He deserves it. Hit that subscribe button. Keep those notifications on for all any future content.
And it's
Obviously,
coming.
you know it. That's a guarantee. Obviously, just to end with this whole animated series, what's the timeline to expect more in regards to that coming down the pipeline?
Well, I have two new shows that I'm in the middle of in production with right now.
Mm,
They will be. I'm hoping to have them released in the middle of the summer. Hopefully, like July or, somewhere around there.
okay.
That's my landing spot. Hopefully, I'll have it ready by then. There are two shows. One's going to be a more of a kid-based show based on my life growing up in the Bronx and
Mm,
becoming a musician, called the Seguida Kids. And it's about me and all my high school buddies and my wife, how I met her. But we are all cartoon characters that are instruments. I'm
hmm,
Stevie Beats, and I'm a snare drum. My wife is
nice.
Lori Lavalier. A lavalier is a type of microphone, so she's a microphone.
Okay.
My best friend Louis Perez, who was a guitar player from Seguida, he is called Little Louis Cuatro. A cuatro is a Spanish acoustic guitar, so he's a
Hmm,
guitar. So all the characters are instruments, and they all represent people that I grew up with and are in my life. And the stories will tell the tale of life in the '70s, growing up in the hood with all the gangs and all that around
mm,
us, and us making. I want to teach kids that if you grow up in that environment, you have a choice. You don't have to join the gangs. You
right,
don't have to
right,
do
right.
bad shit. You can make a decision, and you can do what I did: start a band or find something else that's alternate. You have the power to make your own choice, and that's what that series is going to be about. My other project is called The Fixer, and that's going to
Uh-oh.
be a science fiction series based 300 years in the future, and it's more of an adult story. It's about a guy who is a technician, and he fixes electronic things and steampunk kind of world in the future.
Okay.
Um, and he has a young. He's an older guy in his 50s, and he's kind of like is a cross between a repair guy and a detective, and that's why they call him the fixer, because people come to him with not just to fix shit, but to bring problems. Like one of the first episodes is going to be about this woman who shows up and says, "My brother was killed. He was murdered, and I want to know what happened." So that episode is going to be about
Hmm.
him
That's
going to
intense.
find. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be really, really adult, cool detective kind of story. And he has a side partner who's a 16-year-old girl who kind of was a runaway, and she's extremely brilliant, smart, and technical. She's just super smart girl. But he's a loner. He
Hmm.
don't want this girl around. But she kind of follows him around, and she always sees shit that he doesn't. So
Hmm.
she becomes sort of an assistant that he doesn't really want, but he can't turn her away because she's always right and she's always helpful. So it's called The Fixer. That's the name of that show, and that's coming also hopefully by the summertime.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really gonna be cool. Wait till you see this.
And again, check them out on all platforms. You know, it's amazing to have you on, man, talking about and going over all this. And he's nice. We haven't had the chance to talk in a little bit and just to go over everything, you know, revisit
Oh yeah,
some things, hear these
great being
stories,
with you guys,
you
man. I
know,
could talk to you guys all day. It's
Likewise.
it's
just
awesome.
Likewise.
Before we move on a little bit, we're going to get into the bread and butter of things that are going on. Obviously, big game later on today, a little big
Yeah.
halftime show.
Yeah.
And,
Hey.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit. But before we do, everybody that's watching with us live right now on Twitch and YouTube, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your thoughts about today's game or anything else. If you have any questions, if you're here with us live, if you have any questions for our guest, by all means, drop it in the comments, and we'll be happy to field some questions for you. All right. Again, Super Bowl 60. This is episode 60, Epis Sports, and we got Super Bowl 60 today. Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots. A lot of storylines in regards to that, but one of the biggest storylines of them all, honestly, not even about the game itself. It's about the musical halftime performance and honestly, even during the opening ceremony. And I'll get your take on that, dude, because it was later announced after we knew about Bad Bunny performing a halftime show that Green Day is actually going to be doing the opening ceremony. There's a couple of other musical acts as
Nice.
well
That's great.
that are like, I think there's somebody else doing the national anthem. So there's going to be a couple of different things going on. So I'm very interested to see, because I don't know if you know, but Green Day, I know you know about Green Day.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But I
They're
didn't.
political.
Right. I didn't know if you know that or not, because I didn't even really
Yeah.
know. I knew, obviously, I grew up with Green Day, love them, but they weren't like political back in the day. Now
Now they are now.
they have revamped a lot
time.
of their old songs to where now they
Yes.
change the lyrics into a lot of political stuff, and they've been
Yeah, man.
very outspoken against this administration. And then of course we know Benito, who's doing the halftime show. I mean, he himself won't even perform in the States. He won't even perform in the States because of what's going on. His recent tour, I believe was all in Puerto Rico. And he wanted to do that for the Puerto Rican people, and again, he's been very outspoken against ICE about this administration. It's gotten to the point where it's so bad, dude, that they had to come up, and this just tells you everything you need to know about the state of America, and the politics and everything. It got so bad that they had to come up with the alternate halftime show, produced by Turning Point USA. They are coming out. It's coming. You didn't know about this, Dumb?
Oh, no, I don't care. Oh, what you said, Turning Point USA. That's that.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah. And for those who don't know, Turning Point. No, not the NFL. The NFL's got their halftime show. They're doing their thing.
Right.
Credit to Roger Goodell for.
Listen.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a game. If you're there for the game, this is bigger than a game. It's a spectacle.
Yeah,
it's
for sure. It's not a real game. We know this.
Right. It's the biggest marketing tool in America in the last 50 years, 60 years. It's bigger than that. We know what it's for. It's about money.
Yeah.
And the people who like Bad Bunny, it's a lot of consumers, bro.
Sure.
And then it's an
internationally,
market.
yeah.
And it's international music. And the NFL's been trying to spread their wings internationally.
Right.
So this is great for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is great for a lot of people. It's only not great for a certain section,
Small section.
And these people this is about feelings and
ego and racism, quite apparently.
All a bunch of stuff, right?
I mean, listen, the guy that they're headlining for the alternate, and if you don't know, Turning Point USA, famously founded by Charlie Kirk, who, rest in peace, passed away, whatever, the whole nine. I'm not going to get into the man that he was, not a fan, all this and that, but, obviously taken over by his wife, and now, because, a certain portion of America is in an uproar that there's he's not Spanish speaking only, but Bad Bunny's lyrics are predominantly Spanish, and I'm sure, whatever songs he will perform are going to be,
music doesn't really have a language, man. If you understand music, you understand
right.
music doesn't.
Damn straight.
But that's why he refuses to perform his music in English. He's actually said that out loud. He will only perform in Spanish because he's speaking to the world,
Right,
not just the United States. And he's right. I mean, that's his audience is worldwide, the planet. So by doing that, he's a worldwide entertainer. The guy has hundreds of millions of fans. It's crazy the numbers this guy puts up. So he knows what he's doing, and he's right for doing it. And I'll let you keep going because I have some things to say about
Sure.
that. So,
Just to touch on it a little bit more. Again, this Turning Point USA program, this alternative halftime show is headlined by Kid Rock. And again, I don't have to go into the history of Kid Rock, but for one, he's definitely over the hill in his music career. Not that that's a terrible thing, but he's even recently making headlines because they're digging up old songs that he's talking about statutory, rape,
Yeah,
basically,
I saw
essentially,
that.
you seen that, where he's talking,
Yeah.
referencing young women and that he's okay with it in his music. I mean, this is the guy that you are choosing to represent your American halftime show, which inherently is racist to begin with. We could get into the politics of ICE and everything that's going on in this administration. I mean, people, if you want to contest me and say, oh, there's nothing racist about it. Okay, well, our own president on his own platform, Truth Social, a-okayed
Right.
a nice little racist video just the other day of depicting Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. If that's not enough to just tell you what's going on, and mind you, he did not apologize. They took it down 12 hours later. Took 12 hours, by the way. 12 hours, way too long.
Right.
But they interviewed him, didn't apologize the whole night. So this is what I'm saying,
No.
and this is what we're talking about. And you got an international artist who's arguably the most
Number one.
artist out there
world.
right now in the world. Certainly, Latin musician. I mean, he is just top of the charts, and for a reason. For good, absolute reason. I don't speak Spanish. Obviously, I have a Spanish background, Puerto Rican,
The
Cuban.
music is the
but,
music, bro.
It doesn't matter. It makes you move.
Your hips, your shoulders. Yeah, it's gonna
That's
get
correct.
you. It don't
You're
matter
correct.
about the book. It's
And
gonna
You're
get you.
right,
Lyrics-
Bubby.
And for those that are,
Secondary.
for those that seriously, need to educate themselves, because I've seen clip after clip after clip after clip of people talk about how Bad Bunny is not a part of America. He's not American. And it's like, okay, well,
It's Puerto
Yeah.
Rican.
I can jump in here.
yeah, by all means, by all means.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go right from where you just said. He's not American. I'm hearing go back to your own country.
Right, right.
Okay,
Right.
by this group of people, and they don't understand that he was born in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of America. Puerto Rico is part of America.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico is not a country; it's a territory.
Yes.
An American territory.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody born in Puerto Rico is an American citizen by birth,
Yes.
legally. Okay. So for them to be walking around saying,
Now you know. Jesus.
Yeah,
If you
going back
didn't
to your
know,
own country.
if you didn't know,
if you
now
didn't
you
know
know.
this, clearly they don't know this because they're morons.
Ignorant.
So he's a legal American citizen by birth, like the rest of us. Okay. Now, the first lady of the United States, she's not.
Yeah,
So
I know.
why don't you point a fucking finger at her?
Ugh,
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably
now-
one of the biggest hypocritical things of them all.
And then they say, learn the language. Like learn English. Now Benito
Yeah.
speaks fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
He speaks fluent English.
Yeah.
English
Yes.
and Spanish are both official languages of Puerto Rico
Of the United States, almost
and the
Yeah.
United
Damn
States.
straight.
That is correct.
and the United States. Because the United
Now,
States doesn't have an official language, really.
No,
It doesn't.
no.
We don't have a native language. It's
Right, but those are
predominantly
the two
English
most spoken languages in America are
Yes,
Spanish
yes.
and English.
and
Now,
English.
this man is fluent in both those languages, right? So I say, what two languages are you fluent in, motherfuckers?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Because the most of
right.
American, or at least that side of America, and we know which side we're talking about. Yeah, I
Right.
can easily bet on that a lot of you don't know two languages. I personally
No, they don't know. They
Yeah,
hardly
no.
know. They hardly know English.
Yeah,
Okay. So now, but as far as his music, okay, he's been writing his own songs since he was 14 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. In his catalog, he has over 550 songs.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
He has more than 110 songs right now on the Billboard Hot 100. 110 songs.
That's insane.
Okay.
That
That's
hit,
crazy. He has 17 Latin Grammy Awards. How many do these motherfuckers have? Okay. He has 6 American Grammy Awards. How many do you guys have?
Yeah.
Okay. Benito is estimated worth at this moment is a $100 million. Okay. How much money y'all got? Okay.
And not
All
to
right.
mention the fact that he actually, he's actually performed in the Super Bowl before.
And he's already
You know,
performed it, and it was cool.
and he's not the
Little
only
bit of that stuff.
Spanish speaking artist that's performed before. Like why wasn't this such? I mean, I'm sure there was conversations, all that, but it seems like it's more so this time around, especially because he's headlining the show, and again with this political state that we're in, it seems like we're just racism is just rampant, and it's given these people a voice, and the platform to feel okay to speak on these things and say these things, and I just think it's terrible. It's just atrocious of what's going on.
It is.
I
It is.
It's like there's no limits anymore, man.
No, no, no.
There's
It's
no respect. The people are talking over these through these computers, so they're emboldened.
yeah,
They courageous
yeah,
when they're behind the computer screen. So you can
yeah.
disrespect. I've never been disrespected in real life the way I've been disrespected on the internet.
That's right. That's how it goes.
But that's what I take it. I'm like, yo, this shit. I always tell my people, like, bro, this shit ain't real. They said they did it on the internet. Who cares? But
Right.
but a lot of us do. So they
Yeah,
use this stuff. They use this
yeah, they
stuff
do.
to mess with our
And one
heads
thing,
and to try
an-
to gaslight.
another thing I love about Benito is that he's got the Good Bunny Foundation.
mm,
He's, which what he's doing with that is he's working on foundational things like kids, youthful stuff, for the young people,
Yeah.
youth empowerment, cultural preservations, community development. Um, he collaborates with local governments, educational institutions, corporations, UNICEF.
mm,
He's down with them. He
This
gives
guy's a superstar.
yeah, he's amazing. From personal time he gives to kids. He donates musical instruments to art supply and art supplies and money. This guy has raised millions and millions of dollars for children's foundations. Okay, and what have these guys done? What is Charlie Kirk's Turning Point? Have you done anything like that? No.
yeah, for
Okay.
certain demographics, I'm sure they've funded a little bit, but more so for the politicians, and that doesn't help.
Yeah, and they're screaming. And they're
it's
screaming, the Super Bowl is American, it's American. Well, you know what? The Super
It's
Bowl
not.
has
It's
had the
not.
Rolling Stone, right? The halftime shows have been the Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
U2,
Yeah,
Phil
yeah.
Collins, Shakira,
Right.
The Weeknd, The Who, Rihanna, Paul
Coldplay.
McCartney. None of
All
these
them
people
international artists.
are American.
Right,
Okay,
right.
those are not American artists.
Yeah.
Not
So
one of
what
them
the hell are
either.
you screaming about?
Yeah, and for those that also, like, to your credit, you just mentioned everything that he does for the community, the American community,
Yeah.
all that. For those that say because I've heard the argument from the other side, and oh, what has he
It's
done?
weak.
What has he done? For society and all that, and he's done quite
A
a lot.
lot.
He's done quite a lot.
Right?
Like
Millions
You
of
know,
dollars and
Steve,
time.
Steve, you know when you were describing your neighborhood and the mix, the multicultural neighborhood you grew up with
Yes.
in that time, that's like
Yes.
that resonated with me a lot when you were talking about that. Like that's the America. That's how I look at America. That's how I grew up.
Yes.
The schools I went
Yeah.
to, I had white kids, black kids, all of us. We were cool before we really knew, what skin we were in, and before the
Right,
world showed us.
exactly.
Like we was
That's
all
how we
kicking
grew
it.
up
You know what I
too.
mean? Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up. I felt that. I was just telling you
Yeah.
that, like, that's what
Yeah.
is the real
You did-
American, like my America.
What
But
color we
America's
were didn't
extreme.
matter,
It's
man.
whatever you want it to be. America's whatever you want it to be. And if you want to look
That's
at it,
right.
if you want to look it through that wicked lens, we're not going
Right.
to be. I'm not going to be too. I'm not dealing. I don't have nothing to do with you. I'm against you. So like.
Right. I agree.
But like it was cool, man. I had a lot of friends growing up from different backgrounds, different names, Russian kids, Puerto Ricans, kids,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Italians,
me
black
too.
kids, Caribbean
Asian
kids,
kids.
American
too,
black
yeah.
kids, whatever. Yeah, Maddie. You know what I'm saying?
And my school was
I
like
know,
that
Maddie,
too.
I know you did too. Right. We're from New York City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
I wonder, like, if these people are actually really these white organizations, are they really angry because of this, or are they angry because they're being told they're supposed to be angry?
Yeah,
You
well,
understand what I'm saying?
I've heard that argument both ways because people in the comments on YouTube have told me that
That's
I'm
crazy.
brainwashed and that I'm being told to be mad, after all the ICE murders and all that.
Right.
No. I know what I seen. You don't have to tell me
Right.
nothing.
That's right. You got eyes.
Right. I know
And the
what's
worst part
going
about
on.
that, what happened up there a couple of weeks ago, those two murders. The worst part about them is that we knew this was going to happen. With them there, and that
Oh,
tension
hell
that was
yeah.
growing, our bodies were going to drop.
Yeah.
And they still will. As long as they're around, it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was telling
Oh,
you. I
hell
don't know if you
yeah.
see me say this, Steve, on one of those social media. I was talking about the guy I went to boot camp with, and they asked him why he joined the Navy when they went around our boot camp division. They asked us why we joined. They got up to Cruz, and Cruz said, "Yo, I want to have 100 confirmed kills." Or it was 50 or 100. I don't remember the number, but it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. And he was like, "I want to have
Yeah.
100 confirmed kills." And they
There
were
it
like,
is.
and I was like, "Yo, some people just, they want to get a body, like they want to kill someone,
Yeah.
and if you get an opportunity to do it for free with no,
Yeah. They'll go for it.
without impunity, they're going for it. And it's people, there's wickedness like that out here, and we're trying to understand it. We never will.
And
Another thing that's pissing me off is that those 2 white people got shot, and that's all you heard about. But there was actually 3, and one of them was
Yes.
black.
Yes.
And you don't hear
Yeah.
shit about that.
Right. As actually, there's been quite a few. I think there's been 12 ICE murders. And, I think it was a couple of Spanish. Like just while they were detained and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, this
yeah.
is and
You
listen,
don't hear nothing.
and those are just what we're being told. So I can only imagine those numbers are tripled easily. With all these
Absolutely.
detention centers, I call them concentration camps because they tell you the
That's what they
detention
are.
center. It's definitely
That's what they are.
concentration camps.
That's what they are.
Yeah, there's new ones popping up. They're building 2 new ones in Pennsylvania right now. I
Great.
mean,
That's
it's
fucking great.
it's all over the place. And listen, it's such hypocrisy because again, the idea
that's
of
that
the
word.
of this administration is to rid the nation of these criminal immigrants, these people who are violent, allegedly criminal, right? Meanwhile, you got guys that are not properly vetted, that are running around with these masks on, that were just given these 50,000 bonuses and just handed a job and a gun and a badge, and now we don't know who the hell they
get
are.
'em.
We don't know who the hell they're criminals in their own right. These people are not
They are.
properly
A
being
lot of them
vetted.
are.
We have proven to the far left has already proven to you that we can get hired through them, that they're not even vetting the people that they're bringing in. You have
but
far left extremists that have tried becoming ICE members that were granted access, that were granted permission, and it's just
reprocessed white Proud
They
Boys.
can,
Right.
they can infiltrate that shit if they wanted.
Yeah,
Those
Yeah.
Proud Boys. Proud Boys.
and
they have no
and
security. They just-
the biggest criminal of us all, convicted one too many times, Mr.
Yeah.
Trump.
That's
Then
right.
with these Epstein files, so what criminal activity or criminality only exists when you want it to. The same thing with selective racism, thing like it's like what if it only fits your narrative. It's like if it's not in your backyard, then because again, man, I've
Yeah.
talked with one too many people. We're living in 2 different Americas, man. People say, "Oh,
Absolutely.
this is just propaganda." It's it's all that. Now, are you here? You see what's going on in these damn streets? I know
they
Dub knows.
close
He's
their
down in
eyes.
Florida. ICE was in Long Island the other day. And there was 25 kids that called out of school because they were afraid.
Yeah, can't blame them.
Because they were afraid that whether or not they were going to get pulled
Yeah.
out of class, or or their parents were going to get picked up.
That's no way to live, man. There's no way to
people are
live.
living in fear, and me, having Chinese children and a Chinese wife, I live
Yeah.
in a constant state of fear. I'm afraid for her safety of going
Yeah,
out
someone's
and
just
things
gonna
like
pull
that.
her out of the fucking car
know?
in the middle of the street because she's Asian.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck?
And for you, listen, definitely right now is mainly targeting more brown or black people. And,
My name is John. My name is
yeah.
Gene. My
Oh.
name is John. I have the Haitianest name in the world.
Right.
My
There
name is
you
more
go.
Haitian than that one.
All right, no,
you go.
of course,
You know, They could harass me if they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, well, they have before, right? In American history, we look back, see what they've done to black people. It's interesting, there's more uproar now, but for people of black culture, this is nothing new to you. You know,
That's
too
right.
familiar about this America. You've seen this
That's
America
right.
not too long
Yeah.
ago in our history, in American history. In Italy, we remind you of that.
So
I
it's
mean,
kind of like no big deal to us, man. Like, okay,
right? It's kind of like you're expected now for the whites that are
yeah,
not of that side. Like me, that are
yeah.
don't affiliate with that political party, or just
A friend of mine,
that rhetoric.
a
This
friend
is
of mine.
now it's touched home to me, whereas oh fuck, like this is important, we can't ignore this anymore. And that's why, dude, I was talking to you earlier how we I don't know what else to do but speak on it, because I feel like if I don't anymore, you're going to look at me, oh, Maddie's part of that. I mean,
Yeah,
shit, it
yeah,
happens to me at work, man. I'm at work drawing people's blood. I get this, white guy from the island come in, and he automatically assumes that
that you're down.
I ride with him. And
Yeah.
And you
the
start saying
racism
shit, the rhetoric.
is crazy, dude. I can't even tell you how openly racist people are. And you mentioned
Oh, I
earlier,
know.
Dub. You
I
mentioned
know.
earlier how it's a lot on social media, but now it's spilling over into the streets, and that's the real problem there. Because, like I said, patients come in. I had one guy just completely shit on Chinese people and thought that I was going to agree with him. I had to hit him with it. I had to
Yeah.
tell him. I'm like, sir,
Yeah.
at the end of that conversation, I just let him speak his shit.
Yeah,
And at the
yeah.
end of that conversation, I said, you do know that my wife and kids are Chinese, right? Yeah. Or just letting
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that.
Give him the rope.
You
Give him the
know,
rope.
you
Let him
should have
fucking hang
seen.
himself.
You should have seen him and his wife or whatever completely white. Yeah,
You gotta watch
not that
your
they weren't white
motherfucker.
to
Watch
begin
your
with.
mouth, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's just absurd. The
Watch
blatant
your mouth,
racism,
bro.
and then people want to criticize me, for having a voice and things like that, and like, no, go fuck yourself. This is really happening. And
Yeah.
just to circle on all of it with the whole Bad Bunny thing, I'm happy that he is doing this, because again,
Me too.
he could have easily said no, I'm not supporting. I mean, ICE is probably going to be present at the Super Bowl later today, but
Yeah.
You acting like people guys, who with no paperwork has money to go to the Super Bowl?
you'd be surprised actually. There was an
The workers. The workers.
the workers.
The
Right,
venue
right.
people. The people that are scraping
You're
the
right,
shit
you're
off
right.
the floor and
You're right.
washing the bathrooms.
I will
That's
say
who they're
this.
after.
There's not only that. I seen an interview the other day. An Australian man, not an American citizen. He will be attending the Super Bowl. Spent an absurd amount of money. I think like $17,000 for these tickets.
Okay.
Clearly the guy has money. But he's not an American citizen. Didn't touch on it. Didn't seem too concerned. But I'm sure he's not the only non-American that I can't imagine there's a lot
what money
who's
you get. If
got
you
that
got the
type of
money-
money. But
If you got the money and you're willing to bend the knee, they'll take care of you like Nicki Minaj, bro.
well,
As long as
I
you
guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Nah, man, they're after. They come into the Super Bowl because they want
Get those
the guys who are
workers.
selling the hot dogs.
Mm.
They want the guys who are cleaning the bathrooms. They want the guys who
They
are working
want-
in the parking lot.
And that in
They want
itself.
to antagonize the people. That's what they
Yeah.
want. And they want
Yes.
that on camera when they go harass
That's
these
right.
people you're bringing out. To see, look, it's
That's it.
terrorizing. That's real terrorism.
That's what it is. That's
I
what
tell
it
you,
is.
I really hope none of that happens, especially because like the Super Bowl in itself is it's a celebration of culture and what I don't know, and the way I view it, what I would like America to be, and having Benito on that stage, and it's important. It's really important to represent not only the Puerto Rican people, but everybody else in America and all that, and internationally as well. I mean, listen, again, you touched on it, we touched on it. American culture, there really isn't, right? It's cultures from all over the world,
Right.
intertwined.
It's a young country of a bunch of people, a very young country of a bunch of people that come together. There is no real American. This comes from the milk, from the pot, from the soup.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
That's where
right.
everything comes from.
Music, our
That's how-
food
that's how it's
culture,
supposed to be.
I mean,
Everything.
Jackson Heights alone, I lived in Jackson Heights for quite
Right.
some time. It's the most diverse neighborhood.
In
I
Queens.
believe, no, not in Queens, in the world, bro. Like, we have the most spoken countries in that one little area, most
So that's
spoken
the different
languages
food right
in that
there.
one little
If you go down
area Oh, the food, same thing. Between the food and languages spoken, it's literally the most diverse place in the nation. Like it's absurd. I forget the exact number of languages
When you
spoken in
get
that area.
when you
But
meet
yeah,
new people and you're around new diverse to have that diversity in your life, you get to eat new foods. And like Steve said, you get away and you switch it up. You get to break the monotony. Like it's like going to Italy right
yeah,
there.
sure.
We're not
Yes.
going anywhere. When you know these people, you know, oh, I didn't know you guys do that. We don't do that, but we do this instead. And you get
Sure.
to share
That's right.
intricacies. And, you know,
That's
there's a
it.
lot of,
That's
you
it.
know, but people don't look at it that way. A lot of people, they're like, oh, who's them over there? Oh, they do that. We do this better. Fuck you. That's how
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
are.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's true. It's
What,
true.
whatever the
But on a
reason.
lighter note,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
on a lighter note, who's gonna win the Super Bowl, guys?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah. Let's get there. You know, and again, just to touch, just to conclude all of that, I'll never truly understand that perspective. I come from many different backgrounds. Italian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, the whole nine. And
Yeah.
I've tried to, I immerse myself in Chinese culture and all that. Now, having a Chinese wife, I
Right.
part of my culture is Chinese culture. We take part in a lot of that, and I embrace that. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine a life without that. Listen,
Right.
white
This is your
culture,
life.
white culture's not like all that cracked up to be. So I don't know what the outside of just being blatantly racist and wanting to whitewash
Oh my
everything.
God.
I don't
No, that's
understand why you would not.
they're not
you know.
inclusive. They're exclusive.
Yeah, and I'll just
They
never
want
get
you
on
out of
board with
there.
that. I'll never understand that. And those that support that, it's gotten to the point where you can go kick rocks because I really don't want you at my table anymore.
Exactly,
And I
man.
just really, I'll leave that right there.
There you go.
So, Super Bowl 60, gentlemen. As long as you're willing to hang with us, I think we'll just do the sports portion of the show and touch a little bit on that and get out of here for the day. We've now been streaming for exactly 2 hours. So I really appreciate you. See how easy we could do 2 hours and just, man, I could keep going about just you alone. Forget
Boy
it.
said that. He said, yo,
Yeah.
my boy seen us the street. He said, you guys stream. Don't really. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So again, Super Bowl 60, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, dub. I'm on record already, previous show, saying that I believe Seahawks are going to win. I didn't give my official prediction yet. We'll give it a go over that. Dude, I know you're not a huge football guy, but will you be watching? You're in
I
it.
don't even know who the fuck is playing. Okay? That's sad. That's some sad shit.
You're such a musician. That was such a musician answer.
Right,
They
right,
really
right.
are
Yeah.
really be in another world, bro.
I am. I'm telling you, man. I'm clueless.
Well,
I really don't know.
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Have you ever? Have you ever had like a football team that you rooted, like Jets, Giants, nothing like you ever care at any point? Because I know mainly you're a
Not
baseball guy.
really.
You're a big baseball.
I'm baseball guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bronx. There's too much baseball in New York City, man. That's who I follow.
Yeah, I mean, even
So
when
the
it comes down
offseason-
for me, I'm more of a baseball fan than I am football fan. But obviously we get into it. I enjoy it. But
Yeah.
Football being America's number one now. America's
which, by the way, that's
long time
changing.
ago.
Supposedly.
That's
What they
changing.
say. Yeah,
That's what-
I think so.
The numbers say different, Stevie Beats. The numbers
Football,
the money they're cranking in.
Okay.
football, and I'm not
okay.
talking American football. All right, football is
Okay,
coming
football.
for you.
Football.
Okay, unless Trump and everybody they just deport
what he wants.
everybody, get what he wants
Unless
and
Trump
supports everybody. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
football culture, and I mean soccer, for those
tell you
that are
one
like,
thing.
what is he talking
In
about?
Orlando, it is huge in Orlando.
Huge. They're building a freaking new soccer stadium right here in Queens, man, right
Yeah,
next to City
yeah.
Field.
They have 2 pro teams.
It's crazy. So
I'm telling you,
soccer will definitely change.
When I was working for the Yankees, I would work the soccer games over the summer, and the turnout, man, was sold out. The stadium would be sold out. People,
New York, right?
I was working at the ticket guy. I was one of the ticket people
Yeah.
behind the glass window. I cannot tell you how many people that come up to my window
They walk up.
that had to give me a passport as their ID because they weren't from America. They had flown in from around the goddamn world.
Yeah,
Mm.
To
that's
see
how
this.
it is. That's how
Yeah,
it is in
that's
Orlando. There's so many Brazilians and Australians
Mm.
that come to
no
Orlando
everybody.
to watch the Magic. I'm like, what the
South
heck? What you
South
mean about the Magic?
America.
Yeah.
People were handing me their passports as ID from all over the world. I
Yeah.
mean, countries. I was shocked, and every seat, 55, 60,000 people sold out
Yeah.
every game, and I was totally blown away by that. And that's what the football soccer is, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
it's a world with the fan base is so strong. They actually pay that kind of money to fly around the fucking planet to come see the game.
Right. No,
Right.
no doubt. I mean, yeah, the money's crazy in football.
Yeah.
It's absurd. You think American football, it's got money. The amount that they pay these international players. You've seen the Ronaldos of the
Yeah.
world, the Messis of the world, is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And the fan base too. They are all about it.
base.
The fan base is
They were
in
crazy.
soccer is insane. It's insane.
They it's like religion with them, and they when they're in that audience out there, they're going crazy, man. I mean, crazy,
It puts
waving
them.
their country's flags, and it's just amazing. And surprisingly, I always thought that, like, I watch soccer games on TV every once in a while, and I see like riots happening in the goddamn crowd.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Oh, wow.
none of that happened though at in Yankee Stadium. Nothing. Everybody
No.
was cool.
No. Yeah, well, I think a lot of times it's more there's a little bit heavier police presence, and but they do it up. They
Yeah.
do it up internationally. I mean, the way I've had guys. We had guy here on Twitch. Come from Manchester. Me and Dub were talking to him one day live. It was great, and he worked at Old Trafford, where Manchester United play, and he was telling us, how some of the things, the culture that goes into it. And I've talked to other guys as well, how the security, they separate the fan bases in these stadiums.
Yes.
They
they
have them
to.
enter and leave at different times. They
Yeah, 'cause
have
they'll
the
kill each
section off, right, because they'll kill each other, like, quite literally.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's such
was
an
expecting
ordeal.
that.
It's such an
That's
ordeal.
crazy, though.
Because
But I
and,
didn't see it.
and that's expected because American cult, it's a little bit dumbed down, but you still have the international, I guess, a presence there, and it shoots American fandom down to shame. Honestly, like
Yes,
the way
it
we root
does.
for our teams. It is so mundane. You've heard Nikola Jokic, NBA superstar. You hear him talking about how playing in Serbia, Russia is just, it's otherworldly. You can't even hear yourself
Yeah.
think while you're playing
Yeah,
the game. He
he's
said,
right.
somebody asked him how, the playoff atmosphere here. He's like, brother, I played in Serbia.
Yeah.
Like this ain't nothing. Like it is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys think this is loud.
seen it,
This is crazy.
Even in the Olympics, when the Serbians
Yeah.
came and it still was an Olympic setting, it was insane.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the-
man. Yeah.
So needless to say, little football today. Dub, where do you stand? How do you feel? Because we haven't really,
No.
I've got a little insight into how you
To be
feel.
honest,
Obviously, a lot of praise
I'm
towards the
still
Patriots.
Even at the 1:15 mark in the day, I'm going like 5 hours away.
Still haven't made up your mind?
I'm still torn, but I still could make a case for both of them. Like, say what I think is gonna happen. But obviously Seattle is more talented, and they're more. They seem to be the big favorite. They are.
Yeah.
It's just hard, and we've heard all the reasons why New England is there. The mostly being luck or soldiers of fortune, as far as it's not bad, but weak schedule they played, or the playoff teams they played where the quarterback was having trouble, whether it was the Denver Broncos losing their quarterback or CJ Stroud when he had his yips or whatever he went through, that cost them the Texans the game. People have a reason why the Patriots are there besides them being a good football team. And I think that gives them a lot of reason to win the game and motivation. Because I really, these games are always close. And you have to think about the part of the game, the mental part, or motivating the troops, so to speak, to come together as a team, and the Patriots are renowned to be that kind of team, to have that culture. Even with Belichick, and we talked about them gone, but it's still the same Patriots, bro.
Right.
And not saying, but with the results, we'll see if that's the case. But coming into the game, that they seem to be together. Variable seems like he's got them going on. They have the cool quarterback. I really give them a shot to win this game. They can't make mistakes. They have to wait. They need Sam to make a mistake or two, or the Seahawks. If the Seahawks play a flawless game, turnover wise, they win the football game, man. No question in my mind.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
Throw a pick, they're winning the game by 10 or more.
Especially, yeah. I mean, turnover battle is always big, but I think Seahawks defense itself
a little bit more right.
I think you can almost book a turnover or two for Seattle defense. So if Sam is able to be the manager that he needs to be, that football manager, and just keep it clean, play his game, like we've seen him do all year long. Yeah, they scream to me that they should win.
When it comes to the Patriots, like Steve was saying, sometimes you show up, and you know what I'm saying. And you're in the right place at the right time. The Patriots remind me of that a little bit because they're always here. And I'm talking about this version of them.
Yeah.
This 25 team, they've always been where they had. Like they could say, oh, well, they played the Jets. Well, they beat the shit out of the Jets when they played them. They treated the Jets as they were supposed to treat them.
Right.
As a bad football team. They didn't beat them 21-10. The Jets weren't in the game in the third quarter. They treated them. They did what they were supposed to do with them. They've done that all year long.
Right.
After that Raider loss, they took off. And I gotta respect that. And Vrabel is there's something about him, man. I just could see him being a Super Bowl winning coach today.
Well, Vrabel's right. Great. And to your credit, yeah. I mean, Patriots have had a soft schedule all year long, but you can only play the guys that are in front of you. There's nothing you can do about that. Obviously, a little luck is involved to get to the Super Bowl, to get to any final in any sport. Things got to go your way. But you got to be in the fight. Right.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You gotta have luck. Luck is good. Luck is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky. Oh, thank you.
A part of me does want to believe that luck is gonna run out, and it's weird. I am a Jet fan, obviously. So it's like I have this bias of I don't want to see the Patriots win. It's not the same for me as it was back in the day watching Brady. And Belichick, I don't get that same feeling,
Doing the job, and placing ourselves as these independent observers.
Yeah.
It could make me look at the game and not trip. You see me talking about the Patriots like I want to pick them. And I haven't.
Right.
It sounds like I want to pick them,
Yeah.
But I think they could cover, though.
So you think Seattle's going to cover? Because they're a minus 4.5 favorite. You think Patriots are going to cover the numbers?
13 days ago, when those championship games ended 2 Sundays ago, I told my people, whoever, I probably told you if I spoke to you, Seattle's going to win by 10. They're going to smoke those dudes. They're going to put them in a blunt. But I don't feel that way. And that's life. That's sports. We're allowed to change our minds. Those 2 weeks passed by, all the hype. I'm a Titan fan. I'm a low-key Titan fan, along with the Jets. I know Mike Vrabel, Bo, and he got everything out of the Titans. When he left the Titans, I wasn't happy, but I knew he was going to leave.
Well, right now, Vegas, still has them plus 4.5, the Patriots. All right, so New England plus 195. Dude, if you don't know, those are the betting lines. So, when it's minus 4.5.
I've heard of that.
Minus 4.5, they expect Seattle to win by 5 or more. So, in these type of terms for a Super Bowl game, that's basically saying that they expect Seattle to blow them out. Because to me, that's a pretty high line.
After 3.5, it's high. After 3.5, it's high.
So you're essentially saying that Seattle's going to win by a touchdown or more in that case. A lot of people I've heard, a lot of pundits out there on the media, everybody seems to think that Seattle, I think there's an overwhelming majority consensus that Seattle is going to blow them out. But I don't know. This Patriot team, damn good, very explosive offensively, like you said, but, Seattle is better on both sides of the ball. That's why, hence the favorite. On paper.
Eye check, all of that shit. Seattle.
Yeah. one thing that has occurred during these playoffs for the Patriots, again, falling the right way, is that they just have not scored a lot in these games. I think they're averaging about 15 a game. So that's
They were in a
concerning.
snow game, Matt.
You
I know they played 3
right,
games
the
to
snow
get here.
game. The snow game was tough, right? Obviously, we can't put too much stock in that because late in that second half, it was just everybody you couldn't even throw the ball. Like it was now forced
thing
to
about the
a
Patriots-
one-sided offense.
Matt, the thing about the Patriots, I want to say is I don't like judging them collectively with a collective amount of games. You have to judge them individual game by game, and it would be like Seattle or the Rams or something like that. You could kind of just judge them in a the Patriots. So there's something about them, man. I don't know if you feel what I'm saying, but like I thought about what you just said about the total, the small amount of points they had in those 3 playoff games. They played the Chargers. They beat them with 16-3. They did what they were supposed to do with this team.
Right.
They attacked the battered quarterback and they punked a team that they're supposed to punk. Then they moved on. And then they had CJ and they did what they were supposed to do in that game with him. He gave them what they want, he gave them, and they took it. And then they played in that snow game. So that's what, like, individually, I feel you, but then it's like, yeah, but let's look at that more closer.
Right.
Everything with them, we have to look at more closer. There's something about these guys, Steve. This Patriot team, I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you before we leave, though, and I'm going to give you a prediction before we get out of here.
All right. Well, I don't know how much longer we're going to be sticking around. I do. I don't want to keep Steve too much longer. It's been a long show already today. I got to get the house clean. I got to get the house clean, ready to go. We got some people coming over. I know you got.
The next thing you say to me, I'm gonna get it right now.
What are you? You got some people coming over today yourself? What are you doing?
Me, I don't know. I told my friend in this adult, he lives in an adult living facility, and I told him I was gonna come watch like the first half with him.
Okay.
So I might go check him.
Oh, that's nice. You're gonna go. Yeah,
that's the homie, OG. Yeah, that's the homie, Mr.
All
Mark.
right. That's
That's
nice
the
of
homie,
you.
yeah.
Go spend a little time there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good people, man. It's easy though. It's not like I'm doing charity. That's my motherfucker.
No, right, it's you guy.
But yeah.
I thought you'd be up in, got to be behind that TV, yeah.
No, I'll be back for the third quarter, bro. This is the last football games were 2 weeks ago, bro.
Yeah.
I'll probably be here for Bad Bunny. I want to be back. I'll leave Mark probably in the second quarter. I'll probably just get with him before the game starts.
Yeah.
And leave him in the second quarter.
I'll give you mine. All right, I'll give you my prediction on it, just so we gotta mark it down for the people, okay? Because I've been thinking long and hard. Again, I've been going back and forth. I'm like, damn, man. Even a betting perspective, I'm like, obviously there's more value in the Patriots if you're looking from a betting perspective, but even for both, for me, I still somehow am siding with the Seahawks on it. I just don't know. I get this idea that Sammy's gonna do it.
Right?
I just do. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Patriots could come out on top for all I know. It's, I don't think I see it as far as Vegas sees it in terms of -4.5. I think there's a potential for it to be close, but I don't know. I think the luck runs out with New England. I think Seattle's offense is going to be too much. I don't think New England's defense is good, and I think they're going to wear them down. And that's it. If there's 1 or 2 turnovers, New England has to play a clean game if they want a chance at this. If they give up a couple of turnovers, I think it's over. I don't see a scenario. So I'm gonna make a score prediction real quick. Let me just, because I've been debating on it. All right.
Yeah, brother.
A couple of years ago, by the way, I predicted the score.
That's why you ain't gonna do it this time.
Well, listen, a couple of years ago, I forget which one. I think it was the Chiefs one. I predicted they would score 38.
Saying you can't do it. You need a motherfucker saying you can't do it.
I know. Not that it matters anyway, but I'm gonna go. I'm going to go 34-24. 34-24 Seattle. Okay. There you go. They
blowout or late pull away?
Late pull away. I think it's still relevant early in the fourth, but a late pull away, and you'll know with 5-6 minutes to go. It's over.
Going on already.
It's over. All right. You pretty much the champagne's going to start rolling in that Seattle locker room. All right. I think I think you're gonna feel.
I have a prediction who's going to win the
All right,
Super
all
Bowl
right,
60.
all right.
Yes, sir.
My prediction of the winner of Super Bowl 60 is going to be Roger Goodell.
Yeah, man. There you go.
Yo, that's a fact. Roger Goodell is an American capitalist, yo. He's a brilliant motherfucker, yo. That's
That's
son of a bitch.
right. He's the
That's
big
that-
winner. Okay.
He's the big
Yo,
winner.
bro.
There's no doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't support that. They don't really like him because he be getting in the way of what they want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's interesting. Again, like
Of his
Goodell
money.
chose to, he chose definitely money over,
Yeah.
politics because he's allowed
He
Bad Bunny
knows
to
there's
be
some-
there.
He knows that diversity is money, bro. It's
Right.
beautiful.
that's
Yeah.
right.
People wanna
That's
come out
right.
to be- People spend money to come be a part of that. Of diversity,
That's right.
people do.
By the way,
And the winner is.
by the way, ladies and gentlemen, non-American, immigrants pay a lot of our tax-paying dollars, so they
That's
contribute
correct.
to society. Just to, you
In a
want to
big
keep
way.
on you want to keep on talking about how they don't contribute, that they're just all this,
They gotta
Yeah.
pay taxes when
All
they
right.
buy stuff.
right?
That's
So they're very responsible for a lot of our tax-paying.
And
People don't see that
they do
that way.
jobs Americans won't do.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They run our kitchens. Okay, the food you so love and eat.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, them orange trees in Florida, the brothers ain't picking them oranges, bro. Little, contrary to what motherfuckers might think we're doing, we're not doing that shit, bro.
That's right.
We don't do
That's
shit like
correct.
that, bro. We ain't
That
doing
is
that shit,
correct.
bro. You motherfuckers want your oranges. Them shit, the prices have gone up.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
All right, Dub. Let me hear
All
it,
right.
bro. Let me get your prediction.
All right. You know what's up, Maddie B. This is Epis Radio, Stevie.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
pick Seattle. All right? I can't pick them. I'm gonna go with
I
Maddie.
knew he was gonna do
I
it.
can't do that. Listening to Maddie, man, he made great points, but it's me and him. Chocolate vanilla. You know, you got this. You gotta get another. I told you guys why I like the Patriots, and we're gonna do this for the man Steve. They're gonna be in the right place, the right time. All year they've been there, and they've taken advantage of the prosperity they've been given. And like you said, you think their luck might run out. I think they got one more in them, Maddie B. One more in them.
Another
And
ring.
they're going to steal this, another one. Yeah. I'm going to go New England Patriots 27, Seattle 24.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you field goal to win it late, like last drive. What do you?
Right.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
overtime. No, not overtime. Overtime will be a touchdown. Field goal late.
Field goal late.
Woo!
Okay. All right. Does it end on the field goal, like game, set, match? Like that's the time runs out, or or they make a defensive stand, and
I think defense
New
is
England
gonna play a
Patriots.
part, man.
Yeah.
I think defense is going to play a part. I think the Patriots running backs are just as good, if not better, than Seattle. And if they run the football well, they can open up the game. They can open up the field. Stephon Diggs get more involved. They've got a lot of guys who have intangibles.
Okay.
You know. And I see
Uh,
Stephon Diggs having a good game as well, man. Cardi gonna be in the building. I think it just might be their night. I'm serious.
No, I laugh. I
can
just
see
mentioned you
Cardi
meant
tonight,
Cardi be in the
bro.
building.
I can see Kraft partying tonight.
Who's
Again, one more time.
Who's your MVP?
It's not gonna be Drake May.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the field.
Who?
Good enough? It's someone else, not Drake May.
You taking the field? Not a
Yeah, over
specific
Drake May.
player. You
Nah,
don't want to name.
someone else. I'm not going to take Ramondre Stevens or Trey Xavier. I don't know. One of them. It could be Gonzalez with big plays. They got players on defense,
Okay.
but I just think it's going to be a collective team thing.
Defensive or
You know what I mean?
offense? Defensive
offensive.
or offensive player? Offensive.
Offense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go simple. With the MVP, I think he's
Sam
gonna have.
Darnold.
I think he's gonna have a good game. I know that's not an outlandish
Pick
take.
Seattle, I
know?
wouldn't take anyone else either.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I could
think Seattle
see, I
got
could
the
see like a defensive player. 2
I just
interceptions.
want to say this.
Something
I
like
love
that.
Sam Darnold. I want to say this. I love Sam Darnold. When he was drafted as a quarterback by the Jets, I was excited that day.
Yeah.
When Baker Mayfield his stock went up that week. Do you remember, Matt?
Yes.
And he was becoming the big name. Sam's name was always consistent. This Darnold kid in USC, he's good. And we heard him. But when Baker name went up and the Browns took him, I prayed that the Giants would take Saquon Barkley. And they did. And we got Sam. I was happy. I always liked him. I thought he was rushed, handled well bad. I thought You know,
Yes,
I always
I
like
agree.
for the player.
I agree. Me too. I always like
liked
Sammy.
him. I
Yeah.
always rooted for him, and I if he wins today and I'm wrong, I will be happy to.
Yes.
I don't want the Patriots to win the Super Bowl like that. They're disrespectful. They don't have no respect for us as New Yorkers. The Jet fan base, they disrespectful. Steve, I was being an independent observer, but they're disrespectful. And if they're going to give them another one, they're disgusting. They're entitled, rightfully
Yeah.
so. But I'm tired of
That
this.
ain't right.
It's like the Yankees, man, or like, oh no, actually, you know what?
No.
No.
You see who's with me?
And that ain't happening.
All right.
Don't
No,
you
no,
talk
no, no,
about
no.
my pinstripes. Don't mess with my pinstripes.
I changed my mind. I changed. It's like the Dodgers now, because you know the Yankees kind of took a step back a little bit. You know.
Nah,
Yeah, they
regards to
did.
that.
Sadly, they did.
Say that then.
It's
Say
like the
that.
Dodgers.
We'll be back.
Because unfortunately,
We'll be
guys,
back.
unfortunately, the Dodgers are the new evil empire. So you know that's.
Yes, they are.
They're owned by
Yeah.
a hedge fund, and they
Well, so are the Mets, by the way. Steve
Yeah.
Cohen
I hate
is.
more-
Steve Cohen's got
They
his
got
own hedge
great.
fund, you know.
the hedge fund has a face at least.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah. They defer all of these contracts, defer this for 30 years, defer this for 80 years. We're going to give this money to your great grandkid, okay? All right.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's
there
how
you
they
have
do
it.
Steve. That's how they pay people.
There you have it. There's the picks for the Super Bowl. We're gonna get out of here a little shortly. I do want to hear, from our, featured guest today about his Yankees. Actually, I would just, like the little state of the Yankees, because I don't know, maybe we'll get him on before, as the season starts. We'll talk a little bit more. But I'd like to hear it now. Obviously, it seems as if the Yankees roster is pretty much set in stone going forward for this 2026 season. So I'd love to hear your take.
By the way, guys.
But again, right before, we segue into it, my prediction, 34-24, Seattle, MVP going to Sam Darnold. I want to see it happen, man. I love the kid. I think he deserves it. He showed you that he was capable in Minnesota, and he's carried over here into Seattle. They seemingly have a great team surrounding them.
Minnesota really screwed that up, bro.
They
Talk
did.
about the Jets.
Big time dropped the ball.
They screwed it up.
Yeah, well, Jets, we know they were going to screw it up, but Minnesota dropped the ball.
They just say the Jets, it's like Knicks for clicks with the Jets. It's easy. Even though the Jets make it easy, but it's Minnesota, like you spent this clearly, he had a 14-3 quarterback.
Right.
And then they chose this kid, this little weirdo kid above him,
Yeah.
They got rid of him.
Yeah, and look how that turned out. And you got Dubby's prediction. We know Dude's prediction right here. Roger Goodell is the winner of today's Super Bowl. There you go. That's a guaranteed win for him. Patriots for Dub, 27-24. MVP, he's taking an offensive player. He's not naming any names. Could be Diggs, could be somebody else.
Not Drake May.
The field outside of Drake May, the offensive field, will take the MVP. I'm sure you could get a hell of a prop bet for that. I know there's a bunch of bets. Bet responsibly, everyone. Don't go crazy out here. Okay?
It's just not going to be Drake May. Maybe the corner. Maybe one of those guys get defensive touchdown.
Yeah,
they're going to need some plays.
That's what I think. Outside,
they're going to need something extra to win this football game. The Pats.
I agree with you, and I think for the same thing for Seattle. As much I'd like to see Sam win the MVP, I think you could see a defensive player, maybe 2 interceptions, forced fumble. Maybe even interception return for a touchdown.
If Sam throws for 290, right?
Yeah.
And he throws 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a lock.
JSN catches all 3, and he has 180. Is JSN the MVP, isn't he?
Ooh, that's tight. That's tight in that scenario.
You will give it to the receiver, right?
How many yardage does he have? Because if it's
80 out of Sam's 300.
Yeah, I'll probably give it to him.
Give it to the receiver, right?
Yeah. That's overwhelming. If he had like 2 with like 80 yards, 80 yards, something like that.
Sam probably 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The last receiver, I don't want to say it and be wrong. I think it was the last one I can remember winning MVP was Deion Branch.
Okay.
But I know there's one big one after that because Deion Branch is a while.
Maybe quick search that for you. Was it the last receiver? You're saying wide receiver?
Yeah.
Wide receiver to win MVP in the Super Bowl. Let's see.
Branch? Or they got one after that?
Man, I'm actually surprised. You should know this. Cooper Kupp. who Cooper Cup,
Wow,
little
who's
Coop,
on Seattle?
who's on Seattle, who's playing today. All right. Love that name, Cooper. I did not name my son after Cooper Cup, nor after Cooper Flag, but love that name. Coopers always end up being like ridiculously athletic, by the way. So I'm interested to see if Cooper's got some of that in him. Yeah. But
Cooper Manning?
he was Cooper Manning, right? Cooper Cup is the most recent wide receiver. It was back in 2022.
What was his numbers?
It was back in 22. He recorded 92 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So we were close. I just said 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And I said 180. Do you see that? 82 will get it.
Right.
What
Okay.
did the quarterback have?
Gotta check that. Was with the Rams. Rams 2020. Yeah. Super Bowl stats. Let me check it out.
We ain't gonna stay too much longer. I know.
Now, let's see. So 23-20 over Cincinnati.
Good game.
Stafford, that's probably why, because Stafford had 2 interceptions. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 283 passing yards. That was Burrow's shot.
Where they were scared. Right. He put them in a Stafford put them in a situation where they almost lost, probably.
Yeah.
So they're like, chill. Okay.
Yeah, that was an up and down game late. That was a hell of a Super Bowl right there, man.
And what you said, I heard what you said. That was Burrow's shot. And you know what? He's not gonna get another one, brother.
Yeah, probably not. No.
It's hard, bro. Maybe Stafford got him, but we'll see.
All right. There's our predictions for Super Bowl 60. Again, if you were here with us live or you're watching in post, obviously you'll know if you're watching in post, you know the result by now, I'm sure. But, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're betting, bet responsibly. Don't bet the mortgage. You're right. Little shekels is fine here and there, but don't go crazy. Listen, we have to do a separate episode about the sports, the landscape of sports gambling, because it has just gotten absurd.
Yeah.
With this new Kalshi app, man. You could bet on politics. You could bet on what the weather is what temperature the weather is gonna reach today here in New York. I mean, it is just ridiculous. It's sick.
That shit sounds like trouble, man.
Oh, it's super trouble, man.
This shit is so. Steve, you're gonna be coming through for the Yankees this summer. We're gonna see you a lot.
Oh hell yeah! I go
because I need help. This guy disrespected us all year last season. I almost left the show over the Yankees. That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, we have clips of W saying, we're going to talk about this all summer long. Yeah, you're right.
I go to about 12 games. I go to about 12 games a year live.
Oh, you took it down a little bit. You used to go to more.
Are you still working? Are you working 12. This year?
No, they let us go, man. The tickets are on your phone now. They don't even print tickets anymore. So,
that's it.
It's over.
So
yeah, it's done.
They let all of you go.
Antique, man.
So they disbanded that whole department. It's pretty much
gone?
I
think they have one person there that's a customer service person to help them with their phone ticket, but that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah, we're antique.
We still have a box office where I work on parking for the Magic. We still have a box office, but you could tell they don't use will call that much no more. The paper is starting to really go away.
Yeah, it's gone at the stadiums. It's at Yankee Stadium. It is gone. No tickets. No physical tickets.
I know MSG still does it, but I'm interested. I haven't been there in a while. I'm wondering if they maybe are in the process of getting rid of it as well. But you could still go to a Nick game, and cop a last minute ticket, but. A lot of the tickets they'll even sell you is of the secondary market, which is interesting. So it's like, a lot of these tickets are already pre-sold. They're just pre-sold. Now it's just, what you're buying on the secondary, which we all know is just extremely freaking expensive. It's unreasonably expensive, a lot of these games. Yep.
My ID is a collector's item now.
That's nuts. Wow. All right, so... There it is. So State of the Yankees. Listen, longtime fan. And not only is he a musician all night, but longtime fan of the Yankees. Dude. I know you have an array of collection. You've given me some stuff over the years. Just signatures from not only Yankee greats, but just baseball greats, the whole line. How do you feel? How do you feel about your Yankees going into the 2026? I mean, virtually they're running it back with the same team. Obviously, Cole coming back from injury, so you hope that he can give you the lift that you need. But
Yeah.
pretty much the same team. Are you happy with the offseason? What's your expectations for this year?
I'm honestly, I'm good with the same team. I thought that that we got to put a good product on the field.
Mhm.
I'm not thrilled with the DH. I think the DH is beyond his warranty level there. You know,
Stanton?
his expiration date is
You
past,
don't
I
like
think.
Stanton? You don't think Stanton, Giancarlo?
Yeah, I think
Mm.
he's I love when it takes him the whole season to get hot.
That's what I'm
And when he's
saying.
hot,
Like Steve, he
he's
kind
hot
of
when you
like,
need it. He's hot when you
yeah.
need it.
I'm
I know
used to
that.
it. He's been here a while. We know he doesn't play in the beginning, but
Yeah.
when October comes, that son of a gun is hitting bombs. And
As long as he stays healthy, and he's very prone to injury, so it's always a 50-50 chance
Mhm.
that he won't even make it to the end of the season. So that's always has me worried. But other than that, I think that we got a good product on the field. I believe that it's more about motivation at this point. I want to see a motivated team. I didn't think that last year that they were motivated enough. And I'm not the guy that points fingers and says, "Oh well, get rid of Boone." I don't believe in all that bullshit because ultimately it's on the guys on the field who have to do their jobs, and to me, that seems to be the issue with which I had spoken about earlier, where I believe that there's the amount of money these guys are being paid in all the teams, all throughout sports in general, it's tamped down the motivation level. If you're making too much money, these guys are making ridiculous money. Now I understand why that money is available because these professional sports generates not billions but trillions of dollars, and they are the entertainers because this is an entertainment business.
that's correct.
So so I understand, when somebody says, "Well, he got $60 billion." Well, how much does Tom Cruise make when he makes a fucking movie?
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Right.
Same
you know what
short, a
I'm
lot of
saying?
money to it.
A
These
lot
guys,
more.
if the money's available, no question. And then there's these rich, fat cats who are giving them the money, and it's just a scratch off their booty, that amount of money.
Right. So it's
So,
not about the
and these
money,
TV contracts are huge.
other than that, no longer, when you can being paid that money, it's very difficult, and I can understand on the human aspect of it that it has to be difficult to be that motivated to
But
to to be to win, and I see that, man, because as you know, I've gone to lots of games, and so I've seen some games where my team is playing flat,
Mm.
okay, and they're flat, and that's an attitude thing. That's a clubhouse, like it's catching a cold. It's like that. That's a clubhouse issue amongst themselves, and you need to be motivated. And it's hard to be motivated when you can fail that much and still go home with millions of fucking dollars.
Mm.
but we must
So
say, in defense of the players making that money, the way things seem like they're changing a little bit, Steve, is these short-term contracts. So they'll get these
yes,
huge contracts for one pop, so they got to come back and do it again. And
yes,
that's what these contracts are getting short, and that's kind of a good thing. That Soto one was like a peak of the
yeah,
long-term contract.
yeah.
And if
That
you
was
notice,
crazy.
this year, these like this Mets signing my man, what's the name, Matty? Bichette.
Yeah.
Or 2 and 3 year deals, these 1 year deals where these guys and these opt-outs. So if the game
Yeah.
can stay there, there's motivation because you give this guy this 10 million, which is a lot of money to any of us. But to them, one time, nah. They
Yeah,
want that's just
I
the taste.
agree.
That's the taste.
I
So we gotta
agree.
keep it going like that. We gotta find a
Yeah,
way to
I agree with that. I
to
agree
keep
with
it-
that.
keep the train rolling. So we give him the shorter contracts and make this guy
Yeah.
come back. Trent Grisham is playing on a 1 year deal again. He was awesome last year. Guess what?
Yes, he
gotta
was
do it again.
motivated. He was motivated because he wanted to come back. He loves
And he
being a
wants to get paid,
Yankee.
and he got paid. They gave him 20 million, but it's for 1 year, so he got to do it again.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's 26, 28. He got a 2 year deal. He's gonna want more money when he's 30 again.
That's right. And that's what I'm talking about. Shorten that shit down, bring the cash
Yeah.
prices down a little bit, and make it like that so that you have to have a motivation to want to play hard, to want to win. Because if you get these super long contracts for trillions of fucking dollars, you ain't motivated and you don't care. Then that's just a human reaction.
What's
You
your man
just
name?
don't give a damn.
Matt, what's your man name who went to the Angels? He's like the biggest culprit of them all from Nationals.
From you talking about Anthony Rendon?
Anthony Rendon.
Yeah.
He is like
Yeah,
the
there you
biggest
go.
crook. He gave some of the money back.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause
That's how bad
imagine-
that was, right?
That's crazy.
felt,
There you go.
felt bad, you know? Yeah.
Bro, he never played.
I will say
So,
this,
you know,
though. I think it comes down to the individual. You know, like you get your money or not. You know, I mean, like Shohei Otani's gotten the ultimate
He's not
contract,
playing.
right?
Yeah, Vladimir
And
Guerrero,
that
that's
guy
why
shows
he
up
got
and
the
plays.
superstar. And Judge, right?
And the
That's
same
why
thing-
Okay, but hold it. The Otani is Japanese, and they have a completely different culture of baseball.
All right.
Where honor, even as
Sure.
Japanese regular people, honor is like a major thing with them. You know,
All right, Aaron Judge,
So-
Vlad Guerrero. You know, it's,
Aaron Judge, another one.
you know.
These are rare guys. You're talking about one guy
Yeah, you're
in
right.
thousands of fucking players.
Yeah.
These are
We're talking
rare
about 30
guys.
There's probably 30 guys and there's 900, 800 players.
You know,
in the league. It's
Juan
probably 40 guys.
Soto.
Yeah.
Juan Soto got his
Yes.
money, and he performed last year. I fully
He's
expect him to, continue to perform.
And that's
You know.
it's okay. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
you
He's
can
gonna
you
be
can
used
find
better.
some guys, but you're right though. It's not. You've seen a lot of guys get their money,
I don't think
and
Kyle
then it
Tucker's
falls
scary,
apart.
bro.
You know.
Kyle Tucker's scary, bro.
You think Kyle
Yeah.
Tucker? You're right. Kyle Tucker actually might be one of those
Scary,
guys. You're very right about that. That's a
was
scary move,
rumors,
and
there
we
was
talked about that.
rumblings.
Yeah.
There was rumblings that he didn't love baseball anymore. People were
Right,
saying that,
right.
like, give him 60 million. He don't like baseball anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, when the guys, I don't want to do music. Somebody be like, yeah, I don't want to do music no more, Steve. I don't want to do music no more. Yeah, I'm down. This
Mm.
guy don't like baseball anymore. Let's give him 60.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
You like
give
it
him
now,
60.
motherfucker?
Probably not. Only for a little bit. Listen, the reason why I asked how you feel about the Yankees, and again, I'm a Met fan. Obviously, we know, but I've never been a Yankee hater of that sort. We face each other in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't hate the
Mets.
Mets. I
But-
don't hate the Mets.
I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at it from an independent observer point of view, where I look around the rest of the American League, especially in division, and I look at a Toronto, I look at a Baltimore, I look at a Boston, who I think we can all agree got better this offseason. Really, you're
On
gonna say that?
paper.
Well, on
They lost
paper,
Paper.
on paper,
lost third baseman.
they indisputably got better, all of them.
Bro, they lost a third baseman and they got rid of him
Who?
for the guy that
Oh,
the
Boston, you
third
talking
baseman
about?
from Houston. Yeah, the one from the
All right,
Astros.
that's Boston, but Toronto got way better, and they
No, but you
they
just
were in the World
Boston, bro.
Series. Baltimore
but you-
completely revamped their whole team, and offensively could be a juggernaut now, and their
think
pitching is pretty good.
Toronto's about the same. They
Boston
lost
probably the
Bichette.
least amount of. No, they're not about the same. You're kidding me? They sound what's his name? One of the pitchers who
I
is
know,
coming.
it's bad.
Nah, man. Bichette wasn't even playing for them majority of the time. He just showed up in the World Series. So
he played
they showed you that he didn't really need him in the long run.
They have a lot of question marks going into next season, just like the Yankees.
I would say the Yankees have more question marks. Being
course,
that they are the same team that did not produce last year.
I don't think so. I think that this is sports, man, and ultimately you never know, because you still have things like injury and taking out a top player. You got sometimes you have teams that no one even noticed.
Yeah, there's always
and
one.
they all of a sudden
Yeah, there's always one.
There's always a team like that. Hell
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, always. So this is what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter what the papers say, this, that, ultimately it's like when they start playing ball, okay, that's when you start to see who's who.
Yeah.
Regardless
The
who got what. When they start to play, you see who's gelling, what teams are fucking tightening up. and who's producing, what players are producing, and that's really when I start to decide who's looking good and who isn't.
Right.
Even
Because
that's
even though the
confusing at
Yankees,
times.
even the Yankees, that's right.
Yeah.
Even the Yankees who have stayed the same, who the hell knows? It's not like they
Mm,
have bad guys on their team. They have a
No,
great.
they
They're
got
putting
yeah,
a
it's
good
a good team
product.
that
sure.
they are a team that stayed the same, minus the
Yeah,
fact that Garrett Cole is going to come back, which improves them. But I must say, Maddie, I thought about it and I was killing them during the offseason. Remember, I was talking shit about them. And
Mm.
I also said that the Yankees are content with making the playoffs, and I still believe that.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Steinbrenners
I
are
believe
don't
that too.
they'll take a
Financially,
playoff
yes.
appearance. Yes. If they make their money financially, they'll be cool with it. Us, the
Right.
fans, we're the more pissed off about it. But with that said, as far as the 2026 Yankees go, I think they're just as good. They're going to be in the same situation they were last year where they're going to have an opportunity to beat the Toronto in the playoff series.
Mm.
So running it back, Slittler, we expect him. We have a lot of players where we expect where they can go either way, but I think
Yeah.
they'll go the right way.
So do
I
I.
can see Dominguez, right? Like a Dominguez, like a Schlittler, where they can help us. And we got some prospects. You heard the names coming up. What's my
Yeah,
boy naming out here? We got another one. Like Steve said with Big
yeah.
G. But the thing I want to say to Steve about Big G is we could put him on ice, bro. We put him on ice. We bring him in up in August so he don't
I
miss.
know, I know, I agree. But
And we can play
he's always a
Dominguez.
question mark. He's always
But
a question mark
if we get
whether
him
he's
on the 5th of
healthy,
September,
whether he's like glass. He breaks
he is.
easily. So if they can keep him in one piece, he'll
That's why
produce.
you
But
have to use him sparingly in the beginning of the season, and the end we'll use him.
I agree. But to me,
Protect him.
that's a gamble all the time with him. It just
That's like
is.
the good dishes your mom's never was gonna bring out or whatever. Less special
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
because it's unhappy
yeah.
to it.
Exactly.
But we get that, but we understand that with him. But I think Matt, they'll be right there. I don't think Boston. They lost Devers, then they lost
Yeah, well, they're a little
Bregman.
confusing with
They have
them,
young
for
players. Okay.
sure. But they
But
still
Toronto,
make some moves still,
I think
that could,
Toronto
better.
is right around the same mark too. Both teams. I think they're both around the same. Toronto took a couple losses. They added players. They have a young pitcher as well that we saw in the playoffs, who's very promising.
Their
Like a
pitching,
Schlittler.
I feel like their pitching is far deeper than
I don't know.
the Yankees.
The Yankees have a lot of arms.
And
They
the
don't have
Yankees
all the-
bullpen is a big problem because they didn't really do anything to help that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
You want to give us that as our Achilles? I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that is the problem. That is currently the way the
Yankees-
roster is constructed. That's the problem for the Yankees.
The thing I'm
No
scared
doubt.
about the
Yeah.
Yankees, Steve, is the health of Max Fried. That's what I'm scared of because he has a history of being hurt and he played so well for so long last year. I feel like he's due to break now. Again, that's what I'm scared of, Steve. Max Fried's health.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
He always
You know?
get hurt in Atlanta and everywhere else he been. In Atlanta, he get hurt every other year.
Well,
And this is the
What
other
you
year
said,
now.
what you said before, I also feel is a problem with the Yankee culture, where they are happy enough to make it to the playoffs and that's it. And I believe that I used to work there, so I used to get a lot behind scenes as far as the way the team is run. And that attitude seems to be coming from ownership.
From
The numbers, bro, the numbers that they pull in per game in that stadium are beyond belief. Okay, every game, it's 165 games, 164, something like that.
162.
Yeah.
So you got 81 games in Yankee Stadium.
Right. Every game sold out. Every single game sold out. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. W, you might know this because you work for a sports team. Depending on which team is coming in to play, the ticket prices are different for the same exact seat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Right? So these guys are charging amazing amounts of money, okay, to sit at a what they call a top tier game. The money that these guys are drawing in with the food, with the merchandise, on top of the ticket sales, they make over $100 million per game just at the door.
That's insane.
Dude, you want to take a guess
Yeah.
what the average, just ballpark it, what's the average ticket price to get into the Super Bowl today?
Oh no, I know, it's crazy. It's got to be at least over
I'll
10 grand, I would imagine.
I'll guess.
You're a
Yeah, I'm
little,
guessing it's
it might be that
8,000.
now, but the average ticket price, I think, just to get in the building was $6 grand, a little over six
Okay.
Yeah,
grand.
there you go.
So I mean,
And
that's
if you want a
absurd,
good
you
seat,
know?
it's gonna be
Yeah,
over 10.
yeah, easily.
In
Yeah,
1996, it was $200 to get in the bill, 180,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, now it's
In 96.
ridiculous.
yeah.
So, because of that issue, that's why the Yankees are okay with, going and saying,
Unfortunately,
well, we're
yeah.
good for the playoffs. They don't care. It's almost like management, the ownership doesn't care about the World Series anymore. They don't care because they make so much fucking
Right.
money anyway that they laugh
Right.
at. If we don't make the World Series, who gives a flying fuck? Because
No,
this year we made a
they
$200
rather
billion.
make it, no question. They rather
Um,
make it, and they're going to put a team together that's good enough to make it like the 2024 Yankees.
All right.
Right.
But
That's
if
right.
they don't make it winning a playoff series, it's good for them. They'll
Yes,
take
we're good. We made $100 billion this year.
I've
Yeah, we're
heard
good.
that they say once you get in the playoffs, you have a shot to win it, and that's all they want is it's a shot. We got a shot. How we try?
And you know what? Why every game is sold out? And I've been told this by so many people that work there. There's one reason that why every goddamn game is sold out. Everyone comes to see Aaron Judge. That's why they're there. That's why every seat is sold out. Every
And they
fan wants to
tried
come and
pay
see
him,
Aaron
and they
Judge
already
hit a
got to
home
pay
run.
him, and they try to lowball him.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's
They try to
business.
lowball
They
him.
don't give a fuck.
Right. Man.
Oh man,
Well,
Welcome
dude.
to this that's the entertainment business. Whether you're a musician like me or you're a ball player, we're all on a stage, and the managers all want our money. We're generating the cash flow, and they want our fucking money. That's just how it goes. Entertainment world.
Well, talk about money, and this will be one of the last closing topics of today's show. Do you, the CBA, baseball CBA,
yeah,
is ending
expired.
in December. Do you think we are headed for a lockout? What are your thoughts on that? A lot of people talk about whether or not they should implement or raise the salary floor, maybe implement a salary cap.
Steinbrenner
You
has
know,
been on record talking about salary cap. The Yankees
Right.
owner, can you believe that?
Yeah.
The Yankee owner talking about salary cap.
Yeah,
Yeah, more money for them, more money for me, more money, more money.
right. So what are your thoughts, dude? You think that we're
we're
headed
gonna
for a
have
lockout
a lockout.
next
Of
year?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because this is all greed-driven shit on both sides.
Mm.
So if it's about the money, hell yeah, they're gonna fucking lock out.
Would you
Hell
be
yeah.
Would you be in favor of a salary cap or no?
Absolutely in favor of a salary cap because the money was already at a point where everyone's making more than enough money to survive, more than enough for their great fucking grandchildren to spend. Okay,
I want to say something on the other side of that real quick, Steve. With the cap, I just want to play devil's advocate on it.
Yeah.
Owners like the Pittsburgh Pirates owner, and in these luxury, what do you call it, Maddie? The luxury taxes. I don't know
Yes,
the exact
luxury
numbers,
tax,
but
yeah.
whatever you spend over, you have to pay back to the rest of the league. So
Yeah.
if you pay $5 million over, you take $5 million, you split it up amongst the other owners, and they all take a piece of that $5 million you pay back. All the Pirates owners and other owners, they take that money, they go buy their condos on the beach on the west coast of California. They don't put it back in their teams. So everyone has their own agenda, just like we were talking about. It's not community. Everyone has their own plan. Like I don't care. I'm gonna get my points.
Well,
and some owners.
Well, Major
don't
League
care, so
Baseball
attack
is
them,
one of the
attack.
Major League Baseball is one of the big businesses in this country that are all mostly family-owned businesses. Okay, most of the teams are started out as mom and pop family ownerships. So it's not like they're united as an organization. Really, it's really just a bunch of independent countries fighting each other for the money. That's how all sports is run. Every team is a privately owned, organization, entertainment service, and So that's going on with the salary caps and the sharing of the money and all that shit, the tax shit and that because they're not under one roof really. They're really not.
Right.
They're individual, companies and
Mhm.
organizations that have their own agendas. Each
Sure.
one. There's nothing uniting any of them other than the cash flow.
Right. Well, if they really are shooting for a salary cap, I think it's only right that they force the owners to spend a little bit more. And I'm talking about the bottom feeders of the league, like Dub was just talking about, Pittsburgh Pirates, things like that. You need to
Agreed.
raise that salary floor
Agreed.
and
Agreed. The money's there.
these
The money
owners
is
paying.
there.
Right.
Yeah, these TV contracts are they got these new streaming, everyone's throwing money all around the place. There's money all over the place because the viewership is there. Like he said, this is a stage.
It's the money is there.
Yeah, and it's only fair that they invest more of that money into the product that we see on the field.
I agree.
I
agree.
I think it would prevent a lot of things all across all leagues.
Would.
The tanking, the things like that. It's just it would make it more competitive, more watchable. We see what's going on in basketball nowadays, and it's just the product is not as entertaining as it once was. Baseball kind of different in that sense. Guys are still playing, still want to play hard. But in other sports, we've seen the regular season go down by the wayside. And you've even seen it in baseball a little bit, but it's not as prevalent. But raising that salary floor overall would just increase the competitiveness around the league, and I don't want to take away from players' pockets. I think they're, entitled to their money. They should get their money. All these big contract people always speak, oh, they're not worth it. They're not worth it. And listen, I don't think you could ever live up to an $800 million contract. It's just not, really, how do you even quantify that? I just don't get, nobody can live up to that type of contract. But hey, the money's available. It's out there. I'm not going to knock the player for getting it. Certainly maybe some of their movements and how they go about it, I can criticize. But, that's a story for another day. But something's got to change. I hope for baseball's sake and our sake, there's no lockout. But I wouldn't be surprised. Clearly the owners and the players are not on, they're not in agreement. So most likely we're going to be missing some time. I think the only way the owners get their way, though, is if they stand put and, an actual full year of baseball goes by with, replacement players or something of that sort. I think then you'll see some real change. I just don't think if, they lock out for a month, 2 months into the start of the year, is anything really going to come about it. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a hell of a topic after this year.
It will be interesting.
Yeah, But that's it. That's it for today. I don't want to keep you any longer. I'm done as is. We've now just about hit the 3-hour mark today. So I just want to thank you, dude, for coming on. Again, if everybody's joining us late,
love being with you guys. Absolutely love being with you guys. So it's great conversation. It's just highly entertaining. And you guys are like family, so it's easy to talk with you guys, so I loved it. Epis Sports Radio, is so on point. It's a great show for anybody that's watching. Keep watching. Pass it on to your friends. Share it. Let's build up that audience. Even more. And again, there's quality programming here on Epis Sports Radio. So you all watch and keep an eye on this. You won't be sorry. You will always be highly entertained here.
I appreciate that. And again, you could go back, watch the beginning of the episode, Dude goes back all the way to the 70s. Just we named a lot of the, bands he's been a part of, Devotion, GQ, Seguida, just the influences along the Brazilian, the Latin, everything, the projects he's been doing now.
Steve, I seen somewhere you work with Natalie Cole. Is that true? My mother loved Natalie Cole, yo.
I was her drummer for a month. I did a 30-city tour with her.
When I was she dropped that Unforgettable album, was it then?
Yes.
You got to tell your mom that, bro. You got to tell your mom that.
She said she was going to watch this show. She loved that Unforgettable Natalie Cole album.
Yeah, well, tell mom that I knew Natalie, and she was a very fantastic artist. She was also a troubled lady and went through a lot of stuff, a lot of hard times. But she always, I never saw this woman not give 100% of herself on stage, and she was just a fantastic talent, and she's sorely missed now. You know, she's gone now, and
Yeah.
and it's
She's on a little
and
while
I'll
now.
never forget working for her. It was an honor
Wow.
to be her drummer for a 30 show tour.
My
On,
mom's played that record over and over, Maddie. That
Yeah,
unforgettable. I
man.
know that shit, bro. I used to say, "Oh, mom, again," but nah, I appreciate it though, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like
Natalie was
1991,
special.
some shit like that. Yeah.
I got
Natalie was special.
I got one more for you. One more question because I actually forgot to ask you earlier in the show. I asked you about the venues, the places you play, your favorite or whatever. Who was
Yes,
who was your favorite person to share the stage with? Or a band that maybe that you followed up or played before?
Oh,
Like what like
There,
who
there was, yeah, I know what you mean.
You put
There
him on
were
the
a
spot,
few
man. You
because
put him on the spot.
That's,
You
you
that's
know,
what I do,
baby.
baby.
I have to say that there were a number of them because some of the acts that I was got to perform on stage with and share the stage with were guys that I grew up listening to myself and were heroes of mine. So like the Isley Brothers, I got to do several shows with the Isley Brothers, man.
Jeez.
Teddy Pendergrass,
Yeah.
I got to do shows and share the stage with Teddy. These guys are classic, iconic R&B and soul artists whose
No doubt.
music influenced me. And so people like that, those, getting to meet them and to share the stage, to know that I was on the same stage and show that they were on was really like breathtaking for me. And I always felt blessed to be on stages with people like that, man. And that was just fantastic. I carry that with me too today. When I go on stage
No doubt.
today, I carry that with me.
Damn straight, man. Well, listen, man. Don't go anywhere, all right? I'm about to get out of here, hit that outro. But again, I just want to thank you. Thank you for everything that you have done for our show. You instilled that confidence in me, at a younger age. And, you were
You're
there.
welcome,
You
man.
were there, for the inception of Epis Radio. And it's been, almost 10 years now. It's 9 years, I think, since we really started the idea of
One
this
of my s-
show.
one
And
of one of my skills is to recognizing talent, and I saw that in both of you guys.
Thank
I
you.
saw true talent in what you guys do, and that's why I was involved, because I wanted to, anything I could do to help get your talent exposed and out there to everybody. I felt that that's something I had to do. So
well, that's why you're
Thanks,
the dude,
man.
man. The dude abides,
He's that
Um,
dude. I get it.
It's a
I get
beautiful
it.
thing, man. Dub, any closing comments for dude
Oh,
and the
man.
people?
Man.
All right.
That's all I have, man. Yeah, man. 27-24. New England.
There you go. Anything for
there you
dude.
go.
Anything for dude as we get out of here.
No, man, I think I got it all. I'll probably think of something
You
later
did.
because you're not. I'm gonna
You
see
got
you
it,
again.
Papa.
I'm gonna keep you close. You ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna ask. I got more questions next time. And you said
Anytime,
you're gonna be
man.
around for the
Anytime.
Yankees in the summer. We're gonna need you because when we're just doing
Yeah.
baseball, me and Maddie, man,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
and we all know it all goes to September, so we're gonna need that little
Yeah,
push.
I'm
That'll be
there.
fun.
Just
No doubt.
let me know I'm there.
All right. Everybody enjoy today's Super Bowl 60, New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. We gave you our predictions. Please don't forget, like this video, comment, share, subscribe, the whole nine. Give my man Dude a check out. All right, Stevie Beats Adorno on YouTube and on IG. Go check out his albums, his animated character series. Go check it all out. It's all there for you. We're going to have him on the show in the future. Steve, I appreciate you for being here as always. Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go
Nice to be here.
Seahawks. Let's go Sam Darnold. I would love to see it. All right. And at the end of the day, have a fun time. Enjoy yourself. Don't bet the mortgage. And I hope Ed Bunny puts on one of the greatest performances to ever set the stage at a Super Bowl stage. And just, I hope Green Day, for their sake, they get a little political too. And I know it's going to
they
be
will.
interesting. I know it's going to be good.
Don't,
And
and don't drink and drive, goddammit.
oh, please, nobody out there.
It's a drinking day.
Realistically, nobody should be going anywhere in New York today because it is literally like minus 25 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
get your asses get on that couch, all right, and stay there. There's no need to go outside today.
That's right.
All right.
Agreed.
I know it's a little different for Dub in the sunshine state over there, but
Right.
yeah.
It's gonna get cold tonight, man. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like 51 or 49.
So if you're
It's
not
gonna be
dealing,
cold.
how much? 49? You said? Gee.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a heat wave.
Bro, I'd be out there with shorts on. Oh my God! All right,
That's a heat wave.
all right, everybody,
Listen,
enjoy. Yes,
Christian Gonzalez. He's gonna make a big play today. Be careful for him. Number 0.
Player
Patriots
prop?
defensive back.
player prop Christian Gonzalez.
He might get an interception for. He's gonna be ball.
All right, you heard it, everybody. All right, Steve, don't go anywhere. Dub, don't go anywhere. That's it. That concludes today's show, episode 60. Again, I want to thank you for all of our listeners. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, the whole 9. And as always, keep showing up.
Good night, guys. Good day.
You can't remember where it was. Has this dream stopped?
Broadcasting from the capital of sports, it's the Matty B Show. Right here on Epis Sports Radio. Matty B. On Epis Sports Radio.
Swung on and into the air. To deep right center. That ball is high. That is far. It is gone.
Epis Sports Radio.
Very deep is right. Hits one deep to left field. Headley back near the wall. It's out of here. And that's with the ball game. A 60-point game for Kobe Bryant. They're up by 3. It's over. Eric Decker holds it in. The Jets win in overtime.
All right, everybody, have a beautiful day. It's your boy Matty B at the Sports Radio. Thank you for watching today's show. Thank you to our special guests. And as always, keep showing. Matty B.